Hi. Goodbye.
Neil's next.
The views expressed on the previous programs are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not reflect those of the Beasley.
God, that was kind of abrupt, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Wow.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM. Fort Lauderdale.
Bill? God? What is it?
That CD player.
Oh.
They're going on.
Well, she kissed Al Roker, said goodbye to Ann and Matt. She's at CBS now. Yeah, she's at CBS. Even though she had big ratings, all the critics say the news is a mess now. Yeah, they say it's a mess. They don't like the clothes she wears, but we have to make one thing perfectly clear. Katie Couric don't care, 'cause she's making $50 million a year. All the bloggers on the net are going crazy at their little computers. Yeah, they're HP and Dell, acting like a bunch of drunken sailors out on leave and hanging at Hooters. Well, it's all gone to hell. Well, so far she's left Charlie Gibson and Brian Williams way back in the rear. Katie is kicking butt and she's making $50 million a year. Well, she's asking for America's help to come up with a snappy sign-off. Yeah, she needs a sign-off. That's a dumber idea than when her company hired David Lee Roth. Yeah, I'm glad that he's on. She's been beaten up so bad that the poor lady might be boxing headgear. Katie Couric don't care 'cause she's making $50 million a year. Well, the media is buzzing. Everyone is whipped up into a lather. Yeah, it's such a sin. And the only one that's happy is that crazy narcissistic Dan Rather. He's got a big goofy grin. All the mean things being said might make a mere mortal break down and shed a tear. Katie Couric don't care 'cause she's making $50 million a year.
Yeah, why the hell would you care whether anybody's watching or not? She's got a contract. They're paying her $15 million a year to have that black eye and all that extra mascara on there. What the hell does she care, right?
Right.
Unless she's on some kind of an ego trip. What would you rather have, the $15 million or a big fat ego?
Oh, can I have both?
I'll take the money, thank you. No. I didn't see any numbers for last night. Don't they do it every night? They have the Nielsen's, the overnights?
The overnights,
sure
right, yeah.
She must have been holding up the rear again. Anyway, here's the bad news from Iraq to get us started today. What day is it? Wednesday, September 13. Wow.
How come you never read any of the good news from Iraq? Like
there isn't any.
Like that hospital.
Although that school is almost done. The one that Laura Bush was raving about. She was quelling about it, as they say in Japan. She was quelling. Let's see, we got Mad Dog at 2, the Power Hour with Mad Dog and Hank at 4. The reason I read the lineup so much lately is because there's this tremendous campaign going on. Billboards, newspaper, TV, not. So somebody might. And by the way, Kenny and Bo with our new morning show, getting tremendous promotion too, not. Hank between 5 and 6:30, another one of those shows. Boy, he'll pay for it tomorrow when he has to work 2 hours, 5 to 7. But anyway, he's off at 6:30 because this is the rubber game. Am I right, Josh? The rubber game of the series?
That's right.
If you like it, rubber. Marlins and the Mets, they blew the lead last night, lost 6-4. Well, and they bad news because they had a chance to come within the game of the wild card. San Diego lost. Am I right?
Yes, they did.
If the Marlins would have held on and won that game, they would. And there were 15,163 allegedly, which means there were about 9,000 or 10,000 people there and 3,000 or 4,000 Met fans. So what does that? What does that have left over? Not much. We want a stadium. It's a great sports town, man. What a joke. Marlins and the Mets, 7:05, followed by the Eddie Kaplan show. Here's that good news from Iraq. Police recovered 60 bodies over the past day across Baghdad, most of them bound and tortured, highlighting how sectarian death squads are still plaguing the Iraqi capital despite a major security drive. And, of course, Anbar province, you know what they're saying now? One word about Anbar province.
Forget about it.
Which is only like that big chunk, about a third of the whole country.
Well.
2 car bombs targeting police killed 22 people during the morning and wounded another 76 today. The first killed 14 outside Baghdad's traffic police headquarters. A second bomba targeted police guarding an electricity station in the east of the city. The death of another U.S. soldier was confirmed in Anbar province, and a U.S. soldier was also killed overnight near Baghdad. But who's counting as we're getting closer and closer to 3,000. Just amazing. And it also says in this article, shouldn't have left that out. Oh, no, that's old. 100 people a day dying in Iraq. But they're Iraqis. We don't care about them, even though we are there to liberate them and bring them democracy and freedom. We're bombing them into democracy. Chronic Leonard faxed this in, and it's cute. Looks like it's from the Herald. Can't usually tell what paper it's from by the print. Huh?
If you read the paper, maybe.
Or maybe not. Maybe this is, it's hard to tell. Anyway, it says, give me a kiss. And they've shown that thing with Joey Porter and Bill Cowher about, 4 million times?
Yeah, and even worse than
like
About 30
And they wanted to show all of the sports kisses of all time. Like,
didn't he kiss him on the neck?
Interested. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what that means when a guy kisses another guy on the neck.
Yay.
It says, in light of the kiss, Steelers linebacker Joey Porter planted on Cowher after he ran back an interception 42 yards for the game-clinching touchdown against the Dolphins last week. Nick Saban was asked if any of his players ever shared a smooch with him. Here's his response. He said, yeah, a lot of them. When we win, I'm happy. I hug them, kiss them, rub their neck, love them, and do all kinds of stuff.
Rectum.
Wow. And, of course, he didn't elaborate on what that means, all kinds of stuff. One can only begin to imagine, right?
Right. I'm imagining.
The company that produces the Girls Gone Wild tapes of young women baring their breasts and acting in other sexual situations pleaded guilty yesterday to federal charges and agreed to pay fines totaling $2.1 million. That's small. That's small potatoes, isn't it?
Yeah, they got that.
Can you imagine how much of that crap they're peddling? Man, they must be raking that much in every hour.
It's a great product.
They have their own island.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll be damned. I don't know that. Where is it?
I have no idea. But
it's called Girls Gone Wild.
Mantra Films, Inc., based in Santa Monica, California, made the plea in U.S. District Court in Florida, on charges of failing to maintain proof of age and ID for its young performers in sexually explicit films. See, that's the thing we ran up against. That's why and thank you again to that. I'm sure they're not listening anymore because you ripped them on the air. But thanks to that person in Broward who sent us that fax a year ago in June when we had to take off the beaded curtain thing. Because otherwise we would have never known about it, and then Eric's ass would have been in a ringer. And you think the Beasleys would have done anything to save poor Eric? No. We'd all been in deep crap. Let's see, it also failed to label its DVDs and videotapes properly as required by federal law. That's what they're getting fined it for, $2.1 million. A second company owned by Mantra's founder, MRA Holdings, LLC, entered into a deferred agreement on charges of improper labeling. Under that agreement with prosecutors, charges would be dismissed after 3 years if MRA Holdings cooperates with the future government prosecutors and covers up some of them boobies. Not. The two companies and their founder, Joseph Francis, will pay $2.1 million in fines and restitution. Separate state charges in Florida alleging that two 17-year-old girls were videotaped by Girls Gone Wild cameraman in sexual situations are still pending against Mantra and Francis. Today's agreement ensures that Girls Gone Wild will comply with an important law designed to prevent the sexual exploitation of minors and puts other producers on notice that they must be in compliance as well, said Assistant Attorney General Alice Fisher. An attorney for Mantra, Aaron Dyer, said the company would clean up its record-keeping. The charges involved serious record-keeping issues that occurred several years ago. According to court papers, Mantra Films admitted to violating record-keeping and labeling laws while distributing the videos during 2002 and all of 2003. Founded in 1997, they released 83 different titles and sold 4.5 million videos and DVDs in 2002, according to their Hoover's Inc. business data firm in Austin, Texas. 4.5 million videos and DVDs in 2002. So let's see. What would you say? What's the average cost? Like $20, $30?
No, you can get like 3 of those for like $10.
That's what Josh heard.
Oh, don't tell me you got those videos now.
I had them already when I got this laptop. They were already on the drive, if you will.
Get out of here.
Oh, along with other things that I don't want to talk about. But
I'd like to find out where the hell that stuff came from, by the way. Including that part. No, seriously, who the hell do I know who would put that on there? See what I'm saying? Oh, you just hit the drop. Huh? I think that child had many serious problems, but nevertheless.
We only scratched the surface.
Yeah. I would burn that computer if I was you.
We did.
Good idea.
We set fire to it and
so anyway, 4.5 million times, well, if it's average $3 a piece, is what you're saying, $3 a pop, that's about 12, 13 million. So what's 2.1 million, right? That's 12, 13 million a year. And I'm sure with their creative marketing, they're doing better than that. Let's see. Larry sends a fax. Boy, I tell you, we're off to the races today. What's going on here, man? It's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's murky and rainy and drippy here. It's really pretty mung kind of a day. A federal prosecutor said Monday it won't charge a Jupiter, Florida man with conspiracy to commit wire fraud for a flood of spam emails to President Bush's website. Assistant U.S. Attorney David M. Siegel. So I wonder if he's kin to Al Siegel. He used to do the news on WHEC in Rochester 100 years ago. He's dead, Al Siegel. Assistant U.S. Attorney David Siegel told a judge she should reject arguments that Bush's Chief of Staff Karl Rove caused the criminal investigation against Robert McAllister, whatever that means. Larry says, nice idea. This guy gets pressed for some bullshit, and W gets away with murder and high crimes. Well, we know that. As a matter of fact, the newest poll is very depressing. Only 30%
about 30, man.
of Americans think that Bush ought to be impeached, and 69% said no. How do you like that? Is that obscene or what?
Yeah.
It should be the other way around. 98% say, yeah, impeach his ass and all his murder and bloodshed. But the American people are stupid, man. And there's still a whole bunch of them saying that Saddam was... why even waste our time? Here's yesterday's poll. This was the important stuff. Who has the best ass?
That's
1,541 votes. J-Lo, see, they still think it was who had the biggest ass, not the best ass. Bigger is not always better.
That's right.
I've been saying that all my life, and nobody believes it yet. J-Lo, 290. I hate this poll, 194, but that went down to 12.5%. Now, like, what today have we got on today's poll for just I hate this? I didn't put it on there.
Good.
Wait a minute, I didn't put it on there? Oh, that's my bad. You better add that right now. Boy, I never leave that off. What the hell's that all about? Although we do have 802 votes, it will make the 1,000 probably by 11-something. But get that on there right away, please. Who has the best ass? J-Lo 290. I hate this poll 194. Angelina Jolie 170. The Beast has a lovely
Rectum
119. Well, not lovely, just gigantic, huge, as big as an apartment complex. Mariah Carey, she really is scary, 101. I don't. Shakira, who was a late addition, she moved up very nicely, 84. And if I would have left that on a little bit longer, she was going zooming up.
Might have taken it.
Vida Guerra, 81. Jessica Alba, 68. Jessica Biel, 66. How come Jessica Walter didn't get any?
Oh, God.
Play Misty for her.
Okay.
Brittany, 64. Tom Brady, 61. How do you like that? Brittany, boy, how you have fallen, sweetheart. She just barely edged out Tom Brady's ass. Sofia Vergara, 48. Oprah, 41. Man, talk about gigantic and huge. Beyonce, 40. Late edition. Yeah, it's Misty. Tom Cruise. Aren't you glad you found that, thanks to me?
Yes. I want my collection to be complete.
I'm not really all that big on all that old, jazzy, artsy-fartsy, but that was a great song. Earl Garner and Misty.
Lounge jazz.
Classic.
Yeah, this is all right.
For all you lounge lizards, yeah. Beyonce, 40. Tom Cruise, 26. Scarlett Johansson, 25. Ingemar Johansson didn't make the cut. Kate Hudson, 18, even though she has no ass. Thank you for the picture, by the way. She has no ass.
None.
And horse face.
Right.
There
aren't even rumors.
No boobies, but other than that.
And she can't act, but other than that.
But she was there at the football game with Tommy all dressed up in his zoot suit. That was lovely at the Redskin game. Jennifer Connelly, 16, ass to ass. Brady Quinn tied Jennifer Connelly, 16. Boy, would that be something to see those two ass to ass. I'd pay to see that. And Kylie Minogue, solamente Tracy, 13. Good thing I just remembered that at the last second. And not a good idea to start with that Espanol when you're out of practice for those numbers. Yeah. I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to ask what happened to it.
Good, because I don't know.
Yeah, when you found it.
I don't want to know.
You found it.
Yeah, I know.
10:13 at 560 WQAM. Isn't it time you took the stress and worry out of last-minute hurricane preparations? And, of course, look at all those things that are forming out in the Atlantic now. Well, the hurricane shutter outlet manufactures easy-to-use accordion shutters, so don't get caught with your shutters down. And now they provide you with expert installation, too, by the way. Call them at 954-237-7083. They feature roll-downs, accordions, and panels, just like the Hurricane Shutter Outlet custom make or even install the shutters for you. Call them right now, 954-237-7083, and get on your way to top-notch protection for the rest of your life. The Hurricane Shutter Outlet, family-owned and operated, licensed, insured, and Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County approved. They stock all sizes of clear polycarbonate hurricane panels and aluminum panels, cut to your specs and ready for pickup, or they'll deliver them right to you. And like I said, if you need, they'll install them for you, too. The public and all contractors welcome. Major credit cards accepted. Tell them that Neil sent you to save you some cash, get you $100 off a minimum order of 350 square feet just for having the balls to mention my name. The Hurricane Shutter Outlet, call them at 954-237-7083. 237-7083, or on the Wicked Web, log on to HurricaneShutterOutlet.com.
The biggest names, the best talent.
About 30, man.
Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com.
Come one, come all.
Last door.
That's my very last toy. 10:19 at 560 WQAM. QAM, hello.
Hello.
WQAM, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Neil, how you doing? It's Gilbert. Stuttering Gil.
Oh, Stuttering Gil from Homestead.
Yes,
we
sir.
just had Gilbert and Gilbert. How you like that? What a quinella.
Yeah, that was
how you doing, sir?
Okay.
Hey, I just returned from Vegas. What a time. What a good time over there, buddy. First time, and I believe the last time, because I spent too much money.
Yeah,
too much money. About $800.
Oh,
I'm not Uncle Neil.
I could use that in 45 minutes at Woodbine, man. $800? What the hell is that?
Yeah, hey, it's all I have. Hey, the 2 ex-wives and 2 kids, that's a lot of money coming out of my pocket every month.
Well, quit screwing around so much, Gil.
I know. I got to stop that shit, huh, boss?
Right. Now, see, I told you we we're going to get some really good calls this fall.
You were right.
I don't know when they start, but I told you we we're going to get some heavy-duty, whatever he just said. Wow. Stuttering Gil from Homestead was in Vegas and lost $800. We'll probably dump all of that part of it out. So the audience, I'm sure, wants to know. Wouldn't you think?
I imagine.
WQAM, hello.
Yo, God.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd tell you I'm listening on the Internet, and I don't know if you know this, but while you're at commercial and it's blank, instead today it's saying we will return to regular programming after the Marlins game is over.
Right.
Yeah, and it says that due to the licensing with the baseball commission, they won't let us play the game. And so in other words, I almost thought, wow, this is a little early for a Marlins game.
Yeah. No. Hey, listen. No, it's never too early for a Marlins game.
Well, yeah, that's true. Anyway, love you.
Thanks for the good news, Pally. Okay. Here's a little kiss on the neck for that caller. That's what Nick Saban says. He said he kisses them on the neck and does all kinds of stuff with the guys if they win, if he's happy. If he's unhappy, he gives them, like James Woods would say, a pachentukas. Is that what he says? A pachentukas.
I think that's what he said.
It took us right to the edge of insanity, James Woods, with those zits. Boy, he gives me spookies. Okay, here's today's poll. I should have gotten to that right before those great calls. 853 votes on there. What person sums up what America is today? Thanks to Steve, by the way, for that poll idea. Boy, oh boy, we still never got any more from Pullman Sean, right? Maybe he disappeared.
Right.
Or
sure
maybe he got a life.
I have no
you
life.
think?
Nah.
853 votes. What person best sums up what America is today? And surprisingly, Bush was ahead early. Now, didn't you think he would probably win?
I thought he would.
But I think this is perfect. Paris Hilton is way out ahead. She's got 294, and George W.'s got 235. The reason that she epitomizes even so much better than him is because there's all this hoopla and big fuss, and she's got nothing but somebody else's money. That's all she's got.
I almost voted for her, but I voted for him instead.
So did I. I voted for W. She's got 294. W's got 235. It's strictly a two-horse race. T.O. Terrell Owens, 59. Katie Couric, 56. Did I tell you it's an age of mediocrity? That's what it's all about. As mediocre as they dare to be. Remember that album by Luther Campbell?
Yes, I do. Want to hear something?
What happened to my overhead? I just knocked it down. Just relax. Donald Trump, 50. Pat Robertson, 38. Tom Cruise has got...
About 30, man.
P. Diddy, 28. Jerry Falwell, 25. Rita... And I apologize. I keep putting Rita Crosby on there. I know her name is Cosby. Don't change it, Eric. I mean, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you do.
I just can't stand it.
I know, you're sick.
You know, it's just so sad. Here's the joy of this moment, and then it turns to the other. One of the things, there's a report out there that maybe he was dealing with depression. Do you know anything about that? That maybe there's something happened to him mentally, or maybe some depressive drug that he was taking?
She must be talking about Dan Abrams, who's now the general manager of MSNBC, because anybody that would put her on air again would have to be on drugs. I mean... I look at her, she's got that donkey face. I mean, she looks like a donkey's ass, and she can't speak. Other than that, she's a brilliant journalist, and she does these insipid, asks these idiotic questions.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah, she's great.
She's a great broadcaster.
Did you notice she was fat?
And she's fat. 16. I hate this poll, only 13. Well, we just put that on there, right?
Right.
1.4%. And Shaq, of course, never hear too much about Shaq. He has only 13, bringing up the rear. Nice going, Shaq. The Shaq Man. Shaq. So when are we going to get his segment on the morning show now?
Oh, any minute now.
WQAM, hello.
Shaq, great beat.
A man wearing military fatigues and throwing punches into the air tried to open the exit door of a jet during a cross-country flight last night, airline officials and passengers said. Wouldn't that, unnerve you just a little bit?
A little bit.
United Airlines Flight 890 from L.A. landed as scheduled at Washington Dulles International Airport at 8:35 p.m. Nobody was injured. Ken Wolfenberger of Whittier, California, who was on a flight, told the ANP in a telephone interview that he helped subdue the unruly passenger. The man wore patches on his fatigues with Special Forces and Jiu-Jitsu champion logos, Wolfenberger said. Jiu-Jitsu. I wonder if that's like juju beans. Boy, those things will pull your fillings out, you know?
Yeah, they will.
Those are nasty. Why is it that they make all the candy they eat at the movie theater so bad for you? You know?
They're evil.
Like Good and Plenty, it's the same thing. It's real chewy and it pulls off. I think the dentists must have their finger in it.
Love Good and Plenty.
Anyway, the guy on it, so do I. The man had been acting strangely for about 20 minutes, then sat up, wrapped belts around his hands, and threw punches in the air, Wolfenberger said. Well, that would indicate a little bit of a problem to me, not much. Wolfenberger said he heard a flight attendant yell for help and tell the man, "Sir, get your hand off the handle." Anytime you hear a flight attendant shout, "Please help," you worry that something pretty bad is going to happen, he said.
Yeah.
Wolfenberger said the man was held down and punched by other passengers as he grabbed the man's leg. Air marshals then came and took custody of the man. The passenger became unruly about 3.5 hours into the flight, said United spokeswoman Megan McCarthy. After the passenger was restrained, the pilot decided to land at Dulles. McCarthy said it wasn't an emergency landing. Airport police and FBI agents met the flight, were interviewing the passenger, according to FBI spokeswoman Debbie Weirman. 138 passengers, 6 crew members on board, McCarthy said, and they're all having a good chuckle about it. Whatever, not. No, that can matter, man. The guy's trying to open up the damn door.
Although, what would you rather have going on the airplane, that or the guy that took a dump on the food cart?
Oh, yeah. I definitely would prefer this guy.
Yeah.
Throwing punches in the air.
Sure. You get a little wind blowing in your face, that's nothing compared to what the other guy was going to do.
Doo-doo on a plane. Now, is that a bit that we can play anymore or what?
I think it's safe.
Yeah, listen, don't get carried away. Nothing is safe, okay?
Well,
Ooh. It's also very loud. Ooh. This is like a homegrown one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
What?
When you got on the airplane, the drink started right away.
No, that's Pettinger.
Couple vodkas, then some tonic and Tanqueray. Hey, give me another one.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
Started acting silly like Happy Jack the Clown. You pulled your zipper and your pants came a-tumbling down.
Well, I sure hope there's no more sound effects in here because they seem to be a lot.
And you climbed on the cart. Things got started with a fart.
Ready?
Now, you didn't dump that, did you?
I didn't dump anything. What are you talking about?
Josh?
Huh?
Sounded like a dump to me.
It was a
The
squish.
biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com.
You get a lot of it. Sports! With Neil Rogers on Sports Hole Radio, WQAM.
Coming up tonight on Inside the Behind the True Hollywood Celebrity Music Biography Profile story. They were the first supergroup of the 80s. It was an incredibly heavy burden to bear. Although compared to, say, global warming, not that big a deal. They were Asia.
Bang! Right out of the gate, we were number one. But our second album died completely. What happened? The Police and Michael Jackson, that's what happened.
Founding member Steve Howe was not prepared for Thriller and Synchronicity, two albums that so dominated the 1984 charts as to crush a lesser, more annoying band like Asia. Sting reflects on those heady days.
Well, yeah, we really had a... Ow! Got you, Stingy. You get back here, Steve Howe, and face me like a man.
For the past 25 years, Steve Howe has been lying in wait for Sting, never missing an opportunity to pop out from behind a building and punish him for ruining Asia's chances at success. As for Michael Jackson, Howe has carried out a similar systematic plan to topple him in revenge for outselling Asia's sophomore effort.
LAPD, how may I help you?
Yes, hello, I'm an adolescent boy, and Michael Jackson touched me.
Who is this? Hello? Well, I guess we better investigate these heinous
So afraid to blame themselves, they lash out at others. Hey, just like the White House. It's a big, juicy, sopping wet look at show business tonight on Inside the Behind.
How do you like that? Remember at the beginning when it wasn't PC, they were like kissing Bush's ass on all these bits, and now all of a sudden, boy, they're just slamming him. Oh, and Natalie Maines of the Dixie Chicks, by the way, said he's a dumb F.
For what it's worth, I did give them a lot of feedback over the months about that issue. Yes.
Do you think you're responsible for them finally turning on our president?
I don't think I'm the only one that gave them such feedback that all their bits were bush sucking.
You might want to also give them some feedback that they keep putting stuff in there like the PIS word, which somebody ought to read them, the FCC regulations. Forget about the new ones, even the old ones they don't know, you know. So, or just play for them on the phone to George Carlin, the 7 dirty words bit, you know. No, they don't get it. You would think that there'd be an abundance of caution now, and especially for us because, Jesus God, we don't even have a license. Anyway, moving along. But who cares, you know what? The checks still keep coming in. It's amazing. And look at that. I think we're like on the verge of 900 votes on the poll. I just seen it out there, 903. Wow. It's just barely past 10:30. Aren't you impressed? I think we're off to the races, man. If the sales department could just keep pace. Wasn't that some dog and pony show we had there this morning?
Whatever.
That was really great. And then your buddy Joe Bell came in there and said, ho, 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 whatever he said.
That's a quote.
Yeah. He said, don't say this and don't say that and don't do that. Yeah, okay, go away, Joe. Leave us alone. And then when he asked me if I'm a hockey fan, see, here's a guy that really understands me in this show. He claims he loves this show. He hasn't got a clue. But nevertheless, this is a follow-up to what I asked about the other day because Friday and Saturday the stories were like flying all over in the newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
A Sunny Isles Beach man who was declared a casino winner, then later was told he was a loser, might get good news today, casino officials said. We can only pray.
Mm-hmm.
Put your hands together like a praying mattress. We hope we can come to an amicable agreement, said Mike Bloom, president of the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel Casino near Hollywood. Bloom blamed human error for the problem during Freddie Howard's August 29th visit to the casino and said he and Hard Rock executives will meet with Howard this afternoon and his Fort Lauderdale attorney Keith Herbert to discuss what to do about it. The Hard Rock's been reeling since the swipe and win story broke, and officials said they want to assure the public that they're addressing the situation properly. Well, that's good. Herbert and Howard said that they're ready to be assured. We hope to hear news that is worthy of celebration, not news that we're stonewalled, Herbert said. Last month, Howard pulled his Players Club card through the swipe and win progressive jackpot kiosk inside the casino. He swiped it and promptly was told by casino employees he had won the $259,000 plus jackpot, almost $260,000. He was even photographed holding an oversized cardboard check. See, that's where they made the bad mistake. You know, wouldn't you think that they would do But then 15 hours later, Howard received some bad news. There had been a mistake. Instead of swipe and win, it was swipe and lose, or maybe swipe and win nothing. It was a human error, not a computer error, Bloom explained yesterday. Several casino employees involved in the promotion misread results and assumed Howard had won the top jackpot. Bloom would not specify how the employees erred, but said only they did not follow proper procedure for verifying a prize winner. Bloom explained that after Howard had swiped his Players Club card in the kiosk, its screen never specifically indicated he won any prize, let alone the top prize. Standard procedure when a player believes he or she has won is for staff to verify the prize by checking the log from the computer system, then getting authorization from casino executives. You ought to see what they do at Woodbine, man, when somebody wins the jackpot, which somebody did win it again about 2-3 weeks ago here. Can I tell you the story about that? You're going to cry.
Okay.
I wasn't there, but I was told because all of us, chronic degenerates, we pass the stories around.
I'll get my hanky.
But a lady friend of mine was there the night that it happened. It was on a Wednesday, and I guess 2 weeks ago tonight.
A lady friend?
Yes. A lady gambler friend.
I see.
And at any rate, the guy is playing a machine, not one that I would play. It's a double diamond, Wheel of Fortune. I don't play those. But anyway, the guy is playing a machine. He puts in about $700-800 and get basically nothing. The machine is cold as stone cold. And it's late at night, it's busy, and there are people standing around waiting for a machine. And there's a guy standing behind him who's been very patient waiting, and the guy who is losing turns around. You know where this is going, right?
I know.
He turns around and says, geez, I can't get anything out of this. Maybe you'll have better luck than me. Here, you try it. He had put in $700-800 and got nothing, okay? He gets up, he lets the other guy sit down, a Sri Lankan guy of all things, and the Sri Lankan guy sits down, puts in a $20 bill in the machine. He gets a spin for $100, which lets him keep playing for a little bit, a couple minutes. Right. All of a sudden, 3 Wheels of Fortune, jackpot, $166,000.
That's not a story that makes you cry. That's a story that makes you.
And of course, no, it makes you like blow your brains out.
Yeah.
I know I would.
I'm lightheaded.
See, the mistake that the other guy made is that he was still standing there watching. When you leave a machine,
No.
here's a lesson for all you gamblers out there. When you leave a machine, do not stand around, unless you're going to the one next to it or a couple down. You can't help, but see what's going on. Don't stand around watching.
Just walk away.
That's correct. Otherwise, you're going to get depressed. And this guy was standing right there, and he sees this guy get the 3 wheels of fortune. 166
gun in the mouth.
That is correct. So anyway, when somebody wins one of those deals, they come around, and I'm sure they do this at all casinos. They come around and they got all this machinery and these computers, and they hook it up. They got this big tray that they roll in, and they have like a thing that looks like a stethoscope, and they're like listening. No, seriously, I'm not joking. They're listening to the pulse of the machine or whatever they're listening to. I don't know. And it takes them like a couple of hours before they finally verify. They have to call the head honcho from the Ontario Gaming Commission has to come down and sign off on it and verify. Wow. Anyway. Turns out Howard didn't win anything, not even a T-shirt. The casino broke the bad news to him 15 hours later. He was crushed, but is hopeful for a positive outcome this afternoon. Good luck, Howie. I have faith that they'll pay me after we meet, said Howard, whose swipe and lose saga has been chronicled across the world and in national casino trade publications. Although the casino blamed the mistake on human error, it's taking no chances machinery could be at fault. This week, the Seminole Tribal Gaming Commission contracted Gaming Labs International, an independent firm that specializes in examining computer systems associated with gambling devices. And it goes on about, says sometimes casinos do good, make good on mix-ups. There was a case of the Action tribe in Arizona that's AK-CHIN. Action, isn't that cute? Okay. Whose Harris Casino in 98 paid a woman a $330,000 prize officials had refused to pay her the year before. The tribe refused to pay the woman because it discovered a computer chip malfunction in the machine, but after negative publicity, the casino paid up. So that's how he gets his money, and everybody's happy. Wouldn't that be nice?
That would.
That would be great. Even Joe Bell.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com.
Baby.
Madden 2007 is here with features never before seen in the game. You can make the players do anything, like smoke away their signing bonus.
Yo, Ricky, lighten up on that, dog. Smoke!
Give some of the cheerleaders gonorrhea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dang. Sorry. My bad.
You can make them go out clubbing and get a teammate killed.
4 a.m., man. I thought we were going back to the hotel.
Just a minute, bro. I gotta make a stop. Man, I'm out of here.
And you can play football. Madden 2007.
For Xbox 360, PS2, or just watch SportsCenter and see all this happen to the real players.
Just tell him to shut up and keep eating, okay? Shut him up a little bit, man. He's out of control, man. 1046 at 560 WQAM, and there's the facts right away. Just like George, you see how they follow you like little lemons. Lady friend, question mark, exclamation point. That caught my attention, too. Tell us more.
Oh, my God.
Tell us more. Well, what's wrong with somebody who's having a lady friend? I don't mean like... And haven't I always tried to explain, and I'm sure people realize this, but they're just too stupid to think about it. There are different kinds of friends.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
There are many people, there are regulars at Woodbine. I know them by their first name. And then there are regular ones that I see all the time. I don't even know what their name is. You know, I'm just not the gregarious, outgoing kind of guy. Oh, my name is Neil. What's your, who cares what if they tell me, fine, I'll tell them my name.
Right.
I'll make one up. But, and then so there's a lady who's, and quite frankly, she's a very nice person, but I feel very sorry for her because she's always there losing her ass.
I
get the feeling. And, when you go to a place like that often and you get to know the regulars, and it's human nature. Not that I really care. I'm not nosy, but it's human nature. You wonder, where does somebody like that, not that she's like a bag lady looking person, but where do these people get that money that they're just,
Probably
in fact, when she was telling me the story about the person winning the jackpot, she said, I put $1,200 in machine number 3 the other night. I got 6 spins is all I got, and lost my ass. She always is losing her ass, but she's having a good time.
Divorce settlement, I would imagine. Life insurance from killing her husband.
Well, she, does a lot of credit card stuff, you know what I mean?
Oh,
a lot of visits to the ATM. And you have to wonder about whether the husbands know about some of these women. There are a lot of women there just maxing out their credit cards.
Excellent.
But nevertheless, I don't want to go into that because it sounds too much like gambling to me, and gambling is evil. And they will take your money. 924 votes on the poll. I told you by 11-something we'd have 1,000, didn't I? We're off to the races, baby. You can almost smell the horse droppings. Fox News reports that Senator Chafee's opponent conceded. Well, this is from last night. Oh, this must have been one of those... No, I didn't send you the story last night. Josh is accusing me of sending him late-night stories. Maybe I'm busy with my lady friend. Maybe you're busy with your lady friend. Maybe that's the problem.
There's no question about that.
And I'm sure he is. With his Russian lady friend. With his commie Pinko.
He's rushing over to see her all the time.
Right. Let's see. Lincoln Chafee won. He had 53%, and Steve Laffey 46%. The only thing with this is that, and of course Hillary got 83% of the vote in New York in her Democratic primary. There was no contest. And Elliot Spitzer easily won the New York. He's going to be the next governor of New York because Pataki isn't running again. And Mario Cuomo's son, Andrew Cuomo, he won the way ahead, 52 to 33% for a New York Attorney General. Anybody care about that? No.
No.
I mean, there were some other ones there. Kwesi Mfume, former head of the NAACP, he got beat.
It's Kwesi.
Kwesi. I feel queasy just reading it.
It's not his real name.
Mfume. What is his real name? Joe Brown?
Joe Brown, some Tom Smith, something like that.
Nice job, Brownie. Heck of a job, but he lost. Anyway, that's what the deal. The Lincoln Chafee, of course, is a moderate Republican, which is one of the very, very few left in the world who voted against the war in Iraq, who didn't vote for George Bush. Somebody was on, I forget which talking head it was yesterday, which idiot on the air.
You bet. It's just so sad.
Oh, my God. Who said that he voted for John Kerry in 2004. No, he didn't vote for John Kerry. He wrote in Herbert Walker Bush as a protest against W. So he's very anti-Bush in his policies. But he, in addition to which, he just won the Republican primary. That doesn't mean he's going to hold on to the Senate seat come November. It's just that the other guy, if he would have won, they would have basically conceded because the other guy didn't have a Chinaman's chance in hell. See what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that it's a bunch of crap. In addition to which, they can't count the votes right anyway. I got that somewhere in here, the story about... in fact, it was Fred Grimm's column. Nice going, Fred. Once in a while, Fred writes something worth talking about. I might actually get to it, although we do have... what's her name?
What's her name?
Natalie Maine.
Oh, okay. Speaking of names,
story.
Frizzell.
Bush is a dumb F, is what she said.
Frizzell.
2 or 3 times.
Frizzell Gerald Gray.
Lefty Frizzell.
That's Kwesi's name.
That's his real name?
Frizzell.
Were we just talking
Gerald
about
Gray.
Lefty Frizzell the other day? Yesterday. See how this all ties in together? I've always told you that, and you never believed me. So anyway, my friend's name is Sandy, my lady friend.
Well, that's nice.
Well, when I worked in West Palm at J&O in 1975, my best friend in town was a lady listener. Her name was Sandy.
Well, that's great. See, of course, I know of a lot of gay guys that have lots of female friends.
I didn't say I have a lot of female friends.
But I didn't know. I never knew of you to have any that you would call a friend.
What do you mean by that?
That you would
Now,
call
what
a friend,
I started
like a
to say
lady
before I
friend.
interrupted myself was that there are different kinds of friends.
That's right.
I tried to express that after my mother died a couple of years ago, when some people got all bent out of shape because they found out they weren't my best personal friend. There are those friends you have that you would trust your life with, that you really care about a lot. Then there are those friends who are like acquaintances that you see now and then, and hey, how you doing? And then there are those, like if you never saw if you never saw them again, it would be too soon. Don't you miss Farrell and I? What a jackass. I'm sound asleep. I'm taking a nice nap. And again, not having anything to say. I can't stand people that call you just because they're bored. You know, because they have nothing to do.
I don't even know what that means. That's like a girl. That's something a girl would do.
Right. That's exactly right. So, and of course, I do love his wife. Now, there's a good friend of mine, his wife, even though you hate her because she hates you.
No. I love her even though she hates me.
Oh. No, she's a sweetheart.
She is a sweetheart.
I like her a lot, and I do miss her, but I sure as hell, if the price of not being around her and having dinner with her once in a while, and buying her dinner, if the price of that is not seeing her husband, then I'm willing to pay that price.
I love her even though she hates me.
You don't even know her.
I've met her once.
You did?
We had dinner at the Pizza Loft for free.
Pizza Loft?
I thought
What's
she liked
that?
me, but then,
Speaking of different kinds of friends.
But then she,
he's another one that just, I wouldn't know what kind of dream world he was living in. You know?
So what you should have said to Rimmer when he asked you that question is you should have said, yeah, I miss Frizzell.
I was too queasy to say that.
I see.
Spanish police officers settling in for a video presentation on how to get promoted to sergeant were instead shown footage from a hardcore pornographic film, officials said yesterday.
Oh, my God.
Howling laughter rippled through the auditorium where 120 Madrid City police officers had gathered Monday to see video on operations at an academy where they are to study. I bet you they're anxious to get to academy real quick, the Madrid Regional Justice and Interior Ministry said. A ministry official said computer technicians have blamed the glitch on a Trojan horse computer virus that activated when the... Oh, Trojan, see, they got that in there, too. That activated when the computer containing the video was turned on. I bet you that isn't the only thing that got turned on. It was just bad luck that the virus activated right then, said the official, who couldn't be named because of department rules. The person operating the computer stopped the video and turned it back on several times, but each time the porno movie came back on. So the operator eventually just shut the damn thing off altogether and gave up as they were chuckling and chortling and chewing on their chorizo. They're very big on pig. I told you that the other day. I never realized that till I saw these...
Nothing wrong with that.
PBS. Well, when you got the HD, you'll be watching Discovery and PBS a lot yourself. When Josh can tell you.
Discovery's the best.
But PBS has got some good shows on there. And of course,
both.
You don't watch the travel shows on there, Josh, because you know you're never going to get to any of those places because, you know.
Well, actually, it looks so good that I could say that I've been there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Although the one thing that bothers me is that both of those guys, Rudy Maxa and what's the other guy's name? I forget, that twerpy guy with the glasses. Too much with the artsy-fartsy with the museums and the paintings. You know, for an old pervert like me, I don't want to see that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And for a young pervert like me, I don't want to see it either.
I want to see the people. What?
I said as a young pervert, I don't want to see it either.
No, who don't want to see artsy-fartsy? Oh, didn't you go to the Van Gogh Museum and the Rembrandt Museum? Yeah, get out of here, museum my ass.
Your lady friend will want to go there.
Will you stop with that? What is the big deal with that?
It's just an opportunity.
She's not a friend. She's an acquaintance. Have I ever seen her outside of Woodbine? No. I don't see any of those people outside of the casino. It's just they're regulars there. So you don't understand.
Of course I do. I was making a joke.
No, but you don't understand the way it works in a place
like that. Of course I do.
There are strangers that walk in and have no idea what the hell's going on. They put in a $20 bill and they win $4,000. And then there are the rest of us who go a lot and we lose our ass most of the time.
It's like people you only see at church.
Very good. Excellent analogy. Only much more fun than church, I would think.
Yeah. It depends on the church, I reckon.
Stop being such a heathen bastard now because 90% of America believes in God. And then, of course, they're differentiating. This is the most amusing part of these polls. Well, is it the authoritarian God or is it the benevolent God? Is it the hostile, hateful God? Yeah, cut the crap. I mean, just the fact that they're talking about that exposes what a bunch of crap it is in the first place. You know, which God do you believe in? Oh, I only believe in...
Neil, God!
Wow, that sure was loud, wasn't it?
Sure was.
940. 940? That sounds like Scare America. Boy, they're sure not doing much. 940 votes. What person sums up what America is today? You know, the poll tomorrow is kind of a little bit similar to this. Should I tell you what it is now?
Go ahead.
Something or someone I don't want to hear about anymore.
Ooh.
I got a long list. But anyway, today's poll. What person sums up what America is today? Paris Hilton has got a pretty good lead, 319.
I wonder if she's going to be on that list.
Yes. George W. Bush, 262. He's also on there. T.O. Terrell Owens, 61, or T.O. as in Toronto. Katie Couric, 60. Bad makeup. Donald Trump, 54. Pat Robertson, 39. Tom Cruise, 34. P. Diddy. Diddy, just old did, 28. Diddy or Dinny? I hate this poll, 27, only 2.8%. Jerry Falwell, 26. Rita Cosby, or Rita Crosby, whatever how you want to call that bitch.
I don't know what you're calling this moment, and then it turns to the other. Call her an ambulance.
She's got 16, and of course our good, close personal buddy has got only 14.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The Marlins game is over. We will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com. When the Marlins game is over, we will return to regular programming here online at WQAM.com. Because of restrictions by Major League Baseball, we cannot stream Florida Marlins baseball here online at WQAM.com.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Tonight on ABC, 9/11, all Clinton's fault. Find out why your brown shirt leaders are accountable for nothing, ever, for anything. We'll show you the towers falling over and over again to minimize the significance of being attacked on our shores. 5 years have gone by, too long ago for most of you to remember. But 9/11 was entirely Bill Clinton's fault. You just remember that, especially with the elections coming up. Democrats bad, Republicans good. Democrats bad, Republicans good. Democrats bad, Republicans bad, Republicans good. 9/11, all Clinton's fault, or 9/11, the day Bill Clinton blew up the towers and everything in the world. Don't look at them, look at him. Ooh, he's the bad guy. Tonight on ABC, your subservient Mickey Mouse Network.
It's 11:02 at 560 WQAM. Mad Dog coming up at 2 o'clock, and then with the Humper, the Power Hour, with a good, nice shower. Who did the Dolphins play this week, Josh?
The Bills.
Oh, the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills who damn near knocked off the Patriots last week.
Almost.
Wow. The Bills. I'll tell you that Losman, what is his name? The quarterback.
Losman, yeah.
He don't look too bad. And I don't mean his face. I mean the way he plays. Forget about it. But
Is that right?
Bad. What?
Yeah, you might want to rethink that after a couple weeks.
What do you mean, the way he plays?
Yeah, he's a turd.
He's a turd? He's no Joey Harrington, I'll tell you that.
I'll take Joey Harrington all day.
Over J.P. Losman?
Yeah.
He's a loser? Is that what you'd be saying?
That's what I'd be saying. By the way, I have something for you.
Yeah.
Our friend Kenny Malden walked in. Thought you'd like to know that KDKA in Pittsburgh. Are you aware?
Yes, of course. 10-20 on the dot.
Right. Lost the rights to the Pirates.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
How you doing, Ken? Ken Malden. There's one of my favorite people in the world. One of my close personal friends. One of my manly friends as opposed to my lady friends. But the KDKA lost the rights to the Pirates. Well, that'll teach him to fire Bob Prince, even though he's been dead for 20 years or more. That is shocking. Iron City Beer and Atlantic Richfield, man, and Pirates Radio on KDKA. And also, of course, on the Pirate Network was WWVA in Wheeling, West Virginia. 1170 on the dial. On nights when KDKA wasn't coming in real crystal clear, I'd have to turn over to WWVA, another one of the big 50,000-watt giants. Those were the days, man. All you kids out there, once upon a time, the AM radio was a real trip. It was a real hoot. It was worth owning one. Everybody had like a little transistor sister. Did you ever have one of them little transistor radios?
Yes, I did.
Those were fun.
It was yellow.
They were like indestructible. Mine was white.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, it was like square and white, and it took it to college with me to Michigan State, and at night you could hear WABC and WLS, and of course, well, what am I doing when I got all those jingles in there, you know?
That's right.
The Big H.
No, that's not the one I wanted. It doesn't have any call letters.
CKLW.
That's what I wanted. Of course, that wasn't that far away. I'm in East Lansing, and that's in Detroit. What's the big deal with that? Anyway, why don't we get started with that? It's so depressing to think about those great days. We're getting Malden. I wonder if Ken ever lived in Malden, Mass. You know they named a town after him?
I did not.
And they named Pickles after J. Rokeach. He just, well, what is there to say about that whole UM crowd, Overgrown children. That's the whole thing. The whole deal there is just a bunch of overgrown children. All those people with that program, you know what? I'm sure Josh would agree. Or are you a big Hurricane fan now? You want to jump on the bandwagon?
I wouldn't say that.
Who do they play this week? They play?
Yeah, Louisville.
Well, that's another girls' team.
What are you, drunk?
Is Louisville good?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, they're in the top 25.
I didn't know that. Louisville, well, that's because Howard Smellyburger got out of there finally. Once they got rid of him, they started getting good. He's another idiot. Anyway, so that's, in other words, there's a prospect. If they lose 2 of the first 3, well, I mean, you don't even count that game against, who was it, FAMU that they beat?
Yeah, we don't count that one.
That doesn't
count. It's like a warm-up.
That's like a scrimmage. That's just a joke. Leave it. Why is it that every college... See, when I went to school, Michigan State, we always opened the season against the girls' team and usually lose, see? That takes some talent, like Central Michigan or whatever. This year they won. They beat some Girls of the Blind. I forget who the hell it was. But the Hurricanes and all these other schools, they always have to have at least 1 or 2 games on the schedule against some cream puffs, It's a joke. The political action organization MoveOn.org has announced the placement of a new TV ad which will condemn President Bush for exploiting the 9/11 attacks to bolster the election chances for Republicans in the midterm elections. Well, it's about time, man. MoveOn spent $100,000 for the ad buy, and the 30-second spots will be running nationwide later this week. Oh, they're 30s. We'll probably have them then. Oh, brother. In a statement issued by MoveOn.org, the group said that the ad exploiting 9/11 will remind Americans of the now discredited claims and promises made by the President and Republican leaders in Congress about the connection between 9/11 and Saddam Hussein, the capture of Osama bin Laden, not, and making the country safer by invading Iraq, not. Though that special they had on 2-hour special on the real background of 9/11 on CBC last night, it was great. And they had Richard Clark on there a lot.
Good.
And then at the very end of it, he gave the lowdown at length. I mean, we've heard it before, about how the first thing they brought up was, and Rumsfeld saying, well, there's no good targets in Afghanistan. We got to go after Iraq. There's good targets to bomb there. And Richard Clark said, I thought he was joking when he said that. And I said, what are you talking about? Iraq had nothing to do with this. Yeah, but there's good targets. And then Colin Powell was one of the more moderate voices in there until he sold out.
Right.
And finally they convinced him Afghanistan first, but then Iraq. That was the plan all along.
Huh.
I mean, this is the day after. This was September 12th, 2001. So anybody who doubts that they already had this in mind, this was the game plan. Anyway, Eli Pariser, which I get emails from him all the time and too many. How come I get his emails but not Joe Bell's?
Pronounced Pariser.
It is?
Yes.
Eli Pariser. You can say whatever you want, okay? Pariser sounds kind of like,
That's how he says it.
How do you know that? Where do you see him on NPR?
I saw him on The Daily Show.
Eli Pariser?
Pariser was on The Daily Show from MoveOn.org. Yes, he was being interviewed.
His executive director of Move On Political Action said it is shameful that President Bush, who falsely used 9/11 to lead us into the fiasco of Iraq, continues to exploit 9/11 and try to bolster the sagging fortunes of the Republican Party. And it's got the whole transcript on it. I'll tell you, we got some pretty interesting. Raw Story is great. It's a great website.
Yes, it is.
Even if you don't read our website, read rawstory.com. It's fabulous.
That's right. It's raw.
And watch Keith Olbermann. He was great again last night. Too bad you're not watching him every night.
Damn it.
I just hire
I'll remember one of these days.
Huh?
I'll set my watch alarm.
Just get rid of all your lady friends there in your house and just watch Keith Olbermann.
Oh, yeah.
Send them out shopping or something.
Yeah, with my money.
Well, or with somebody else's credit card.
Gambling with my money. Hey, Josh, let me borrow your credit card.
Or maybe his big screen TV. Now, has Josh invited you over yet to watch the big screen HD?
Yes, I have. Big plans, actually. We're going to drop acid and watch the colorized version of Metropolis, yeah.
No, seriously, you'll, well, I don't know whether it's a good thing or not, because once you see it, you're going to get aggravated, because then you're going to say, oh, geez, I'm going back and watching my crappy TV after seeing that. I wonder how long it's going to be before, is it 2009 that everything is going to have to be in HD? Remember the FCC mandated that by such and such a date? Then they pushed it back, I think 2009.
No, not everything. By then it'll be a lot more channels, but it still won't be everything.
Well, damn them.
Soon, one day.
You know what I really enjoy? Because my HD network affiliates, my local network affiliates are from Buffalo, of course, but the HD ones are from Seattle. You know, Como and King and whatever the other one is out there.
Right.
And they do the news in HD. Have you ever seen that? You ever watched it?
Yeah.
That is really a trip. That's fabulous. Just, you know.
Everything. Not that I like the show, but David Letterman is in HD. You can see all the wrinkles in his face.
Oh, my God. Now, does it make like when the pencil goes through the window when he throws that pencil? Is it like the glass come through the living room?
I didn't make it that far.
Oh, I would say that like for anybody who remembers 3D movies with the glasses, you know, they try to make a comeback on that, but didn't work out too well.
Bring it back every once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while they bring it back. But if anybody, House of Wax with Vincent Price was great in 3D. But the same kind of three-dimensional picture, and when you're watching a live sporting event in HD, you could reach right in there and pat Brady Quinn right on the ass, or Tom Brady, or whoever you like, maybe the cheerleaders. Anybody, you could kiss Nick Saban on the neck, or give him a Pach and Tuchus. That James Woods, man. Yeah. And when you told me that he was Jewish, and then I found out about that Wolf Blitzkrieg stuff, you know, I see him on the air now in the afternoon, and I get angry. I got so angry yesterday, I turned over to MSNBC, and you know who was on?
What are the things out there that maybe he was dealing with depression?
Yeah, I'm depressed about that. There are some things in life you say, this isn't possible, this cannot be, this cannot be. Like that incident I had in Berlin. A little more than an incident, but you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You feel like you must be dreaming. Somebody pinched me. This can't possibly be really happening. This has to be like a dream, either a very good one like that one, or a very bad one like...
All right. Do we know anything about that?
Like that one. She is... Don't you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She can't be on the air.
If this were a movie, it would be funny, but it's not.
She can't really be on the air, pretending to be like a real news... whatever she's supposed to be. My God, she's impossible to look at, and she can't speak, and she's an imbecile. But other than that, she is dynamite. God, that's why she should have a lot more votes on today's poll. I'm surprised. Maybe most people don't know who she is, or maybe because I put Crosby instead of Crosby, but I'm sure not. She's right. She's just barely above Shaq. She's got 17, he's got 16. And we got 978. Boy, we're going to have that 1,000 by the bottom of the hour. Aren't you excited?
Thrilled.
We're rolling, baby. Let's roll. Isn't that what Bush said? Let's roll. Even though the guys on the plane said roll it, meaning the food card, as they were breaking through the cockpit door of that jet. What happened to that plane, by the way? There's a big hole in the ground there, but what happened to the plane? Maybe that's like what happened to the rest of the plane at the Pentagon. Don't start with all that loose chain stuff and that Pentagon strike and all those other conspiracy theories. We're sick and tired of all that crap, that anti-American stuff, and that anti-Israel stuff, too, while you're at it. Well, I got a story about that later, too, about all the cluster bombs they use.
Oh, you anti-Semite.
Yeah. Well, what would you enjoy rather, a cluster bomb or a cluster... Well, we can't say that. Please, Mr. Cluster. In fact, there was a song, a record called Please, Mr. Custer. Was that Larry Verne?
I don't know.
Larry Verne, Please, Mr. Custer. What was the name of that?
Mr. Custer. By Larry Verne.
It's by who?
Larry Verne.
Oh.
I remember it. I know the words.
I wonder if he's akin to Vern Troyer, who's in a Geico spot, Mini-Me.
Laverne
I saw that last night, by the way.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I'm going to get some Geico insurance even though I don't even need it.
The biggest names of best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Neil God.
998 votes. We're right on the verge of greatness.
Oh! What they're doing. What they're doing. What they're doing.
By the way, I see you're working Friday.
I beg your pardon.
It was on the first schedule, and you're on the renewal
of
the revised schedule.
Bombs might be slipping.
past the inspectors. Bombs might be slipping past the inspectors. Don't wanna fly with al-Qaeda overseas. Fly with al-Qaeda, I'll be blown to smithereens. Don't wanna fly with al-Qaeda. Oh no, not me. I might end up in the ocean. Pakistanis uncover the nasty steam, nitroglycerin in a tube of denture cream. Mix it up and bake some TNT. Oh no, that's no solution. Don't wanna fly with al-Qaeda. BOAC. Fly with al-Qaeda. There'll be nothing left of me. Don't wanna fly with al-Qaeda. Wait and see. I might end up in the ocean.
And welcome to Heathrow International Airport. Please note, enhanced security measures are in place for the aviation sector. All liquids and gels are prohibited. Screening checkpoint aboard the aircraft. This includes beverages, shampoo, perfume, suntan lotion, toothpaste, hair gel, and other items of similar consistency. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy your flight.
Oh, astronauts lost another bolt. They're working on the space station. You see that?
No.
You know, it's one thing if you're putting together some, like a chair or something at home.
An erector set.
That's it.
Legos.
You drop a bolt or a nut on the floor. Nothing worse than dropping a nut on the floor. But if you're in outer space and you drop a bolt and you, like, reach back, geez, it's a long ways away now. And wouldn't it be something if that bolt winds up hitting like...
oh, yeah. Like what? Like
like our tower or something like that?
Oh, yeah, that'd be
and knocks us off the air on Friday? Now, what is that all about? It says on my schedule, and then I just got the revised schedule.
That's an error.
No, it is not. It says Friday, September 15th, Kenny and Bill Morning Show follows the Big O, and then George Rodriguez 10 to 2, Mandates at Hooters, Doral, Power Hour, and blah, blah, blah. Hank and
operator error.
What do you mean by that?
It's an error.
No. It says George Rodriguez says, Neil, I'm on here Monday through Thursday. Well, they don't want to push me into like 5 days all at once.
Yes.
Christ, I'm getting old, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. That's what you think. I got more energy in my left pinky than you got in your whole body.
Oh, that's no lie.
That's not saying much.
No.
Doug Thompson writes on CapitolHillBlue.com, ask Clarence what that's all about. He's got Clarence wouldn't make no mistake on his schedule, would he?
Yes.
That would be bad, because he has so little else to do anyway, besides interfere with the morning show and put a lot of stupid sports segments on it. Too much sports, Clarence. You're killing those guys. Kenny sounds like a really good guy, like a broadcaster, like somebody who really belongs on the air, which we very rarely do that. Doug Thompson writes, with every Bush lie, more American soldiers die. As in...
I'm dying over here.
Did I mention we have over 1,000 votes?
Yes.
Well, let me say it again. We got 1,013. Boy, they're zooming in there now. We're getting piles of votes. Oh, I just dropped a nut on the floor.
Which one?
Right one. Doug Thompson says it shouldn't surprise anyone that George W. Bush continues to lie to the American people about Iraq. Bush lies so much that it's doubtful now that even he can separate truth from fiction. But the people who actually fight wars, unlike the coward-in-chief who ran and hid in the Texas Air Guard to avoid defending his country in Vietnam, says we're losing the Iraq War and cannot, under current operational strategies, defeat the insurgents who kill dozens, sometimes hundreds of Iraqi civilians every day. Marine Major General Richard C. Zillmer, a senior American commander in Iraq, told reporters in a phone interview yesterday that the U.S.-led coalition effort cannot defeat the insurgents with present troop levels. Zillmer says he has the resources to continue training Iraqis to fight the insurgents, but he doesn't have the forces to actually beat the insurgents. If there was seen a larger role for coalition forces out here to win that insurgency fight, then that's going to change the metrics of what we need out here, Zillmer said. That's a startling admission for a general who was put on the phone by the White House to try and offset the damage by another military assessment that says American forces have lost control of Anbar province, an area now controlled by al-Qaeda. If I can just interrupt, speaking of being put on the phone by the White House, remember in Why We Fight when John McCain, who during those days, when they interviewed him, was actually speking the truth, and he was ripping the hell out of Cheney and Bush.
That's
and the whole
right.
thing. And they interrupted the interview, and they said, there was a message from McCain's secretary, Senator, the Vice President's office is on the phone. Vice President's on the phone.
And you have to take it.
Yeah. Boy, they shut him up in a hurry, I'll tell you. So if you wonder why Colin Powell changed his tune and showed that vial at the UN, they probably had, like, pictures of his family, stuff like that. Minor hints, you know, like in The Godfather. Like when they brought in Frankie Pentangeli's brother from Sicilia, from the old country. Anyway, I'm going to read that sentence again. That's a startling admission for a general who was put on the phone by the White House to try to offset the damage by another military assessment that says American forces have lost control of Anbar province, an area now controlled by al-Qaeda. And, of course, keep in mind, before the Iraq attack, there wasn't no al-Qaeda in Iraq. A classified report by Colonel Pete Devlin, Marine Chief of Intelligence for the Anbar conflict, says both the American military and the Iraqi government have lost control of Anbar to al-Qaeda, and that al-Qaeda's influence is growing in Iraq. Even Zilmer, the general assigned by the White House to put out the fire, won't lie for Bush about the report. I have seen that report, and I do concur with that assessment, he admits. Which adds another irony to Bush's dirty little war. He lied about the so-called link between Saddam and al-Qaeda to justify his war to a gullible Congress. Now he admits such a link did not exist, but he overlooks the fact that the American invasion of Iraq has given al-Qaeda a chance to gain a strong position in the country, along with other terrorist and insurgent groups that did not exist under Hussein's rule. I think I just said that. Bush claims we must stay the course in Iraq because leaving would let the insurgents and terrorists take over. What he doesn't say is that it was the U.S. invasion that created the conditions that allowed the insurgents and terrorists to gain a foothold in the country. Most residents of Baghdad must live without electrical power for parts of the day because the U.S. can't keep the power plants running. Most cannot venture out of their own city because the insurgents rule the streets, not American soldiers, and certainly not the puppet Iraqi government that the Bush administration installed. Soldiers returning from Iraq are given talking points from their commanders and told to talk up the war in interviews with their hometown media. Most of them throw the talking points away. They know the Pentagon's spin is bullshit and the President of the U.S. is a liar. They put their lives on the line for a man who would not fight for his country when he had the chance, and many of them resent doing so. And who can blame them for being bitter? Every rationale, every reason, every justification for invading Iraq has been proven false. It's a war based on and fueled by lies. Vice President Dick Cheney bragged that American soldiers would be greeted as liberators. They are booed and cursed as invaders and occupiers. Bush continues to paint rosy pictures of success as increasing numbers of American soldiers and Iraqi civilians die. Yet the president will continue to lie, and his lies will continue to get airplay thanks to a well-orchestrated media manipulation program put together by his operatives. As the 5th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks unfolds, it comes to look less like a sad remembrance of the past and more like a troubling glimpse into the future, a window to a new age totalitarianism that looms before the U.S., where a powerful right-wing government tells lies aided and abetted by friendly media corporations, says journalist Robert Perry, former Newsweek and Associated Press reporter who broke many of the Iran-Contra scandal stories during the Reagan years. Perry writes on ConsortiumNews.com, so even as the CIA and the Senate Intelligence Committee finally acknowledged some of the many Iraqi war falsehoods told by George Bush and his senior advisors, Bush's misfeasance and malfeasance are obscured by Disney's ABC TV docudrama, pinning most of the blame for the 9/11 catastrophe not on Bush, but on Democrats. Walt Disney's selection of a right-wing dictator, and with the secrecy that surrounded the project, the path to 9/11 also had the sickening feeling of a collaboration between a giant corporation and the Republican government in power. Republican sources tell me, says Doug Thompson, Bush's political guru, Karl Rove, was up to his eyeballs in personal involvement with the ABC miniseries. That should come as no surprise to those familiar with Rove's modus operandi. Concludes Perry, Karl Rove and other Republican strategists project what effectively will be a one-party state, with Republicans controlling all branches of government, using the federal courts to redefine the Constitution, and keeping Democrats around as foils and boogeymen to stir up the conservative base with warnings about the enemy within. On the 5th anniversary of 9/11, Bush and his Republican supporters were trying hard to revive the lost sentimental unity that followed the attacks, but the saddest legacy of the tragic day may be that it marked the path toward the end of the noble American Republic and the start of a new totalitarianism. Perry is right. What Bush and his band of co-conspirators have accomplished is no less than a coup to overthrow the government of the U.S., said Doug Thompson, or the USA, according to... He's writing columns every day now.
Good.
Probably in a bunker, like 80,000 feet under the...
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Management of WQAM stands firm in their misguided commitment to stretch what should be a 5-minute segment of sports into 20 hours a day. To convince ourselves that corporate is never wrong, we went directly to you, the listener.
So, you enjoy the old sports format on WQAM?
Oh, sure. I can't afford to buy anything they advertise, but it does let me daydream about men.
Now, how does listening to old sports radio affect your life?
Well, I can support my favorite teams and athletes.
Even if they wouldn't give you the sweat off their jockstrap?
Sure. I know they care about me and my opinion. At least I pretend I know them personally.
But you don't know any personally.
No, but I can still go, woo-woo, when my team wins, and woo-woo, what a game! What a game!
Does that change your life?
No, but it feels good to do that or something.
What if they lose? Does that change your life?
No.
Do you like men?
Huh?
These are men you idolize. It's men that you watch and talk about and want to wake up next to in the morning.
Does that make me gay?
Yeah, that makes you a homo.
I gotta go, man. My pants are getting tight.
Hey!
26 till noon at 560 WQAM. 1,031 votes on the poll. Very important question today. What person sums up best what America is today, what it's become? And isn't it a sad thing to look at? You can almost smell it. Paris Hilton, 347. Man, I hate to smell that. George W. Bush, 283. She's pulling away, man. She's in the lead, and rightfully so. She's the epitome, as Edward R. Murrow would say, the epitome of what's wrong with the world today. George Bush, 283, although almost as talented as she is. Katie Couric's way down to Katie, 68. Small potatoes, you notice? The big drop-off? Yeah. It's a two-house race. T.O., Terrell Owen, 66. Donald Trump, 55. Have you ever seen the promo he does on NBC where he's shouting?
No.
He's a screamer. He shouts. He can't read the teleprompter. He's got to shout. And always in a very high register, you know, a cash register. I hate this poll, 43, 4.1%. Well, your mama. So socks in hell. Pat Robertson, 41. Tom Cruise, 37. P. Diddy, 29, whose new name is, whatever it is, Puff. Puff the Magic Dragoon. Jerry Falwell, 27. Rita Cosby, 19. That's Rita Cosby who says...
There's something happened to him mentally or maybe...
and Shaq has only got 16. He continues bringing up the rear. And I'm sure it's a gigantic rear, even though he didn't do all that... Well, we didn't put him on the ass pole, did we?
Mm-mm.
I'm sure his ass... If each cheek is as big as his head, man, he's got a mammoth ass. Not as big as that dog that Katie was walking on the beach with, though. Kate Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't get over that. And there were like 18 votes for that, too, that she's got the best ass. She doesn't have any ass.
I think they were joking. Or,
no, they were not. She's got one ass, Tommy. She keeps schlepping him around, or the other way around. He keeps schlepping her around. That's the ass. Anyway, Tom Regan writes, on the Christian Science Monitor, no less, in a report that some have said is the most negative yet filed by a senior military officer in Iraq, the Chief of Intelligence for the U.S. Marine Corps in Iraq concludes that the possibilities of the U.S. and Iraqi government securing the troubled western Iraqi province of Anbar are remote. Remote, as in probably none and much less than none. The Washington Post reports that Colonel Pete Devlin's assessment, written in mid-August, also says there is almost nothing the U.S. military can do to improve the political and social situation there. One Army officer summarized it as arguing that in Anbar province we haven't been defeated militarily, but we've been defeated politically, and that's where wars are won and lost. The very pessimistic statement, as one Marine officer called it, was dated August 16 and sent to Washington shortly after that's been discussed across the Pentagon elsewhere in national security circles. I don't know if it's a shock wave, but it's made people uncomfortable, said a Defense Department official who's read the report and obviously is anonymous. The Post reports that Colonel Devlin offers several reasons for this situation: a lack of U.S. and Iraqi troops in the province, the collapse of local governments, and a weak central government with almost no presence in the region. The Times of London reports that one of Britain's top soldiers in Afghanistan quit the army last month because he was so frustrated with the situation in that country. Captain Leo Doherty of the Scots Guards said the campaign in the southern province of Helmand province has become a textbook case of how to mess up a counterinsurgency, how to mess it up. And an opinion piece in the Washington Post, Ahmed Rashid, a Pakistani journalist and author of Taliban and Jihad, The Rise of Militant Islam in Central Asia, writes that the tactics and strategy of Islamic extremists fighting U.S. or NATO forces have improved dramatically. He says al-Qaeda and its allies are winning by not losing. How do you like that? You know what? It's kind of like QAM. Yeah, that's what it's like. We're not winning because we've been doing a great job these last 8 or 9 months, but because the other guys across the street are so bad that nobody could lose to them. See what I'm saying? We're winning by not losing.
We win by default.
We think we're winning. Huh?
By default.
By default. And whose default will it be if we don't do all that great? 1,040 votes on the poll, man. We're holding up our end. I'm telling you that right now.
Rectum.
High in the air. You can smell it all across the counties. All across South Florida, even probably into the Keys, no doubt. Even dating is perilous in polarized Baghdad. He was a dashing young computer engineer. She was a shy student at his alma mater. They fell in love over lunch last year in the university cafeteria and promptly became engaged. That tweet?
Special.
Well, as they prepared for a future together, the couple barely discussed the subject that under Saddam Hussein's rule amounted to a footnote in matters of the heart. He was a Shiite Muslim. She was a Sunni Kurd. But now those labels are tearing the couple apart, barred by their families from marrying anyone of the opposite sect. This is like the Jews and the Goyim. The couple has erased one another's cell phone numbers and stopped speaking. There is no hope in this country anymore for Sunnis and Shiites to fall in love, said Husham al-Ghizi, a 25-year-old engineer, as he buried his face in his hands and recounted the story. For decades, marriages between Sunnis and Shiites in Iraq were as ordinary as the daily call to prayer. But the sectarian warfare gripping the country has created a powerful barrier to Sunni-Shiite romances. Married couples have filed for divorce rather than face the scorn of their neighbors, George. Finance. Fiancés have split up as a result of death threats, not finances, fiancés. And increasingly, young single Iraqis have concluded that it is simply easier to stick to their own kind when it comes to love and family. Stay away from those goyim. Just like my parents used to tell me all the time, don't socialize with those goyim. And, of course, when you're growing up in a town of 10,000 people where there's like 6 Jews in there, that kind of limits your social circle, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Very limiting. Lead kind of a sheltered childhood. But I'm sure making up for it now, believe me. 20 till noon at QAM.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
WIOD. Oh, I hate that station.
The world's oldest joke is now the nation's newest movie.
Babe, want some popcorn?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just reach over and help yourself. Deeper. Dig deeper. Yeah. Oh,
Baby, hey, what is that? Ew! Oh, you pervert!
Snake in the popcorn. Coming soon.
You like that?
But is it buttered popcorn? That's the question. 11:45, we got Mad Dog at 2, and then we got that Power Hour, baby. What's that, you're probably asking? Oh, check out all those billboards all around town. That's the Humper and the Mad Dog together in stereo. They're showering in the Power Hour. 4 to 5, and then the Humper for an hour and a half before the Marlin game. Big game tonight, baby. They got to win that game. They don't want to fall anymore because they've only got, 17 games left?
Yeah, they're about.
Don't give me that they're about. I think they're 73 and 72. Would that be their record? I'm just off the top of my mind.
Right.
That's 145. That means I got 17 games left. And 2 games behind. Well, that's not that big of a deal. They can do that, over the weekend. Because it looks to me like San Diego's on the verge of choking and gagging anyway. They're not that good. Any San Diego team is not that good. I don't know why San Diego has any teams. Do you?
Well, you stumped them.
No? No, really. How's their hockey team doing? And what about if they got a basketball team?
They got a hockey team?
No. That's what I'm saying. San Diego. It's like Buffalo. Buffalo's got the Bills, and they got the Sabres, although I do like the Sabres. They're all right. Greenstone Media, a radio company whose founders include social activist Gloria Steinem. I like that, Max Finneganov. He could play on my team. Whose founders include social activist Gloria Steinem and actress Jane Fonda, has launched an all-women, all-talk network across the USA. How do you like that Joe Bell asking me, am I a hockey fan? Did you hear that, George?
I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but...
The hell it isn't.
Okay. He said, you're a hockey fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well...
And are you a Panthers fan?
Well, that was a fair question.
Panthers...
You have been, but I haven't heard you be a fan of theirs lately.
What are you talking about? Boy, you're in La-La Land, man.
Okay.
You're bad.
Well, maybe because I ignore all that Panther talk.
We don't talk hockey on it. Call up Rimmer. He'll hockey you, China.
I'll bet.
Anyway, this new network has got, it's a ladies network, all women. Well, that's bad if we get a station in South Florida with that, because how we're going to lose our whole lady audience. Then this network has a different spirit. It has more community. It's more about information, about humor, about respect for different points of view, and not consistent arguing. Steinem told Reuters in an interview. Well, how boring then. But Greenstone also hopes to attract male listeners. We do have male voices on the network. He said it's much better to have a mixture of voices. Oh, that's what Susan Ness said. She's chief executive officer of Greenstone, which got its name from a children's book by Alice Walker, author of The Color Purple, who evidently is big into colors. Maybe she reads USA Today. The network's broadcasts have aired since July in selected stations such as WINN and IAIN in Jackson, Mississippi, WXCT in Hartford, Connecticut, a station in Flint, Michigan that evidently has got no callers because it's not here, and launching a broadcast in Albany. Oh, yeah. It's also trying to partner with some satellite radio outfits. Sounds like real big time, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not. We expect that people will be able to also get us on mobile phones, cable radio, iPods, and every distribution vehicle on their pop-up toaster, in their toilet. And by the way, what is that spot they're showing on TV? We can't play fart sounds. They got a spot about kids go, go, go. What do they call it?
I don't know.
You've seen that.
Sure.
It's a potty spot about little kids sitting on the toilet. Go, go, go. Well, what is that?
That's potty.
Jesus, God. What the hell is that?
The potty song.
There's a potty song?
I took my diapers off.
Yeah, it's about going potty.
Oh, I see. Well, good. Let's not play that. They can play it on the networks. They can play that spot. See, if we were getting money for it, we could play. If we got money for every fart sound that we played, we'd have fart sounds 24/7. Real ones. Steinem pointed out the idea of an all-women network stemmed from a company survey showing 18% decrease in female listeners over the past 7 years. Women, wait till you hear this paragraph. Before that, currently the network does 9 hours of programming a day, which should increase shortly to 12. Wow. Here's the thing. Here's the piece of resistance. Women are really fleeing from AM talk radio, and now FM music becomes they're fleeing from because people get their music in different ways. So here's an enormous window of opportunity we're diving in, she said. Well, there's no window of opportunity because you're going to, like in stations in markets that got like 15 watts combined. You know, they're dreaming. They're like the guys across the street. They think none of these bogus ideas. Everybody's a broadcast, you know. And what kind of people want to hear Gloria Steinem, okay?
Gay.
Am I right?
Right.
That old dyke. That old washed-up dyke. Who wants to hear that bitch? But women are really fleeing. Well, see, we can't say that women are fleeing AM talk radio in our market because we never had any on this station. Never. We had them on IOD. We used to do a little bit. You know, not, huh?
Right.
We had like a lot of. When's the last time we had a lady caller on this show?
I don't recall.
Okay, that's how long ago it is. Let's see if we can scare up a lady caller right now. Just one. 5670560. We don't have any women out there. Oh, Neil, all the women we know. Yeah, right. All that crap we hear all the time. It's just like the people that come, speaking of regulars at the casino. Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. You always win. When people say that to me, I just want to like that. You know, there actually are people who say that. You know, they see you there all the time. Oh, you win all the time. Every time you win. Yeah, right. You should live so long, bitch. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Ron.
Yeah, huh? WQAM, hello.
Hi, John Bob.
Yeah, okay, good. 567, we're talking about real ladies, not guys that have the strap-ons. 5670560. See, there won't be any ladies. You'll see. In fact, look at that phone response. What are we on, about a 10-minute delay, or are we just done?
We're done.
Oh, WQAM, hello. QAM.
Yeah, I'm a female caller, but not necessarily a lady.
That's our favorite.
Really?
Uh-huh. And I call all the time. I call you all the time. As a matter of fact, the last time I called, I said that George's voice made me hot, and you said I was pathetic.
Yeah, I stand by that.
Okay.
Although maybe it makes Nick Saban hot from that promo we heard before. Maybe he likes George's voice.
I don't
Okay,
like
well, thanks. You're close enough. We'll take it. She said she's not a real lady. Well, we don't want a real lady. We
want an unreal lady.
Some kind of a slut. Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of Apple, this is really depressing. What?
Nice segue.
Yeah. Well, look, now to see all these, probably a whole bunch of ladies on there, or just idiots. I don't really care. We got our lady, and we proved the point. We don't have any. Apple Computer Inc. unveiled its new movie download service. I'm sure you saw about this.
Yes, I did.
Steve Jobs.
Yes, I did.
Becoming the latest company trying to secure a toehold in what could be a rapidly expanding entertainment market. Like I said, that whole thing about music radio, and didn't it bear out in that article I just read about Gloria Steinem and her bogus radio network? FM music radio is history. It's on the way out. They don't realize it yet, but they're done. I mean, with all the different options that you have for listening to music that you like, especially in South Florida where FM music radio is just garbage, you know. Garbage. In fact, that's an insult to all the garbage. Apple also updated its entire line of popular iPod MP3 players. Under the new movie service, consumers will be able to choose from over 75 movies from Miramax and Walt Disney Company, Disney, Pixar, and Touchstone, to download from the company's popular iTunes store. Well, Steve Jobs, you can take those and stick them all deep in your
rectum.
Yeah, now's a real good time to be jumping in bed with Disney, isn't it? Not.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they had a movie that I liked, which they don't, I still wouldn't watch it. The movies will include Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Shakespeare in Love, and The Incredibles. Consumers will be able to download the films to watch on their computers and iPods. Well, first of all, nobody wants to watch a movie on your iPod or on your computer.
Well,
Am I right about that?
It depends on what kind of screen you have.
Oh, I got a 21-inch, I think. I got a decent-sized monitor, but I don't want to watch. When I got an HD TV in the other room, now that's supposedly going to be their next deal.
Uh-huh.
Apple said users will soon be able to watch the movies on TV with the upcoming release of a new product dubbed the iTV player. See, now we're moving on to that. So that when Josh buys you your HD set, then you really have something. Especially when you get your HD DVD player. I haven't got that thing yet. And why the hell should I? There's no material for it yet. How many movies are there? Like, huh?
About 30, man.
I don't know. They show movies in HD all the time, I'm sure, as you know, and, like, they don't look any different to me.
they show movies on the HD channels you're talking about?
Yeah, and like they don't.
Oh, well, there's a little bit better definition, but it's not enough that it's worth going out and buying all kinds of fancy. Yeah. Oh no, I agree with that. We believe the iTV concept could make Apple a bigger player in the digital home, UBS analyst Ben Reitzes wrote in a research note after Apple's announcement. Are you excited about that? Not. Yeah. Hey, I'll stick with my iPod. I know that I'm way, below the curve. I'm way,
You're doing fine there.
What?
With your
iPod.
iPod.
An old fart like me to have an iPod with
right.
4,000 songs in it, I think I'm doing just fine.
Go, Daddy-O.
And if I want to hear music, I'll listen to my music, not somebody else's stupid-ass music, not some crap that some programmer decided to put on the air that a bunch of punky kids with their pants down to their ankles are listening to. Who wants to hear that crap?
They ain't the ones listening to that.
Huh?
It's just 12-year-old girls, man.
Listening to what?
The popular swill that's out there.
12-year-old girls are listening to that rap crap?
Yep.
What about 12-year-old boys? What do they listen to?
12-year-old girls.
Oh. And what kind of sounds are there? Well, I don't want to get into it. Apple is also updating its iPod line, rolling out a new 30-gigabyte version.
About 30, man.
Priced at $249, and a new 80-gig model for $349, which will hold up to 20,000 songs or 100 hours of video. And let me say it again. Anybody that wants to watch a movie on their iPod is an idiot.
Some people travel. That's what that's all about.
So?
Well, there you go. You have your own movie collection as well as your music.
You mean what kind of plane?
Yeah.
Well, if you travel business class, you get on a real airline, you get the movie thing, you pick your own movies.
You said it, business class on a real airline.
Right. In other words, if you're a big spender, would you think like schleppers like you are going to go out and buy the new iPod?
No.
Of course not. The company said it will also offer a new thinner iPod Nano that will feature a 24-hour battery life. Now that's more like it. And more storage capacity as well as the company said it will also offer a new thinner iPod Nano that will feature a 24-hour battery life. Now that's more like it. And more storage capacity as well as an iGig iPod Shuffle. What I say, iGig? Too many gigs and too many. A 1 gig iPod Shuffle. Reitzes also wrote that the new iPod products could help drive Apple sales higher for the rest of the year. They also announced that highlights from NFL regular season games this year will be available for purchase through its iTunes store for $1.99 a game. They can also take that and shove it. Why do we need that when we got the NFL Network, which advertises on the station, by the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the NFL Network right there. Look at that.
So I pick up from You Didn't See Me to on Tuesday and Wednesday.
You should just... There's Clinton Portis, and I hope he's going to kiss her right on the neck. I'll be damned. Anyway, last week, Amazon launched its new Unbox movie download service, while wireless phone company Sprint and Nextel announced a deal to offer movie downloads of movies onto cell phones. And pretty soon you're going to be able to see movies on your toilet paper. They're going to be everywhere. Isn't that great? Now, if they could just make some good movies, like that Mean Creek. Oh, don't ever watch that. Boy.
I won't.
No, seriously, there's nothing wrong with it, except that there's no ending. That's the thing. That's the thing that really frosts your ass. It's one thing if there's a movie that's really a bad movie, you know what I'm saying? And the whole thing is bad and then it has a bad ending.
Mm-hmm.
And what a piece of crap. But this could have been fine. But they just reached a certain point and then they ended it. It would have been like after Ned Beatty got poked in the woods up there in Deliverance, and then they shot the guys and buried him, and then that would have been the end. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That would have been unacceptable is what it is. But you're right, though. There's so many movie makers, they don't know how to end the film.
No. You got to start backwards from the end. Like, come up with a good ending and then work towards that.
That's right.
To do it.
In fact, we're going to show you how to do it today. We're ending the show right now.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
All right, now, we're going to take a look at this bugger over here. Steve, be careful, it's hell.
Oh, crikey. What the bloomin' hell happened?
Steve Irwin, after a lifetime of putting your fingers where they don't belong, you finally slipped up, and now you're in bloomin' hell.
You mean I'm...
Processing.
Dead?
There, he got it.
And I'm in hell?
Surprised?
Are you kidding? There's an entire universe of creatures right down here that I could never get my hands on up on the earthly plane. Like, look on that cliff up over there. It's a perfect example of a Beelzebubulus Antichristialis, otherwise known as the common house demon.
Okay, right, that's 10.
Stick around as I, Steve Irwin, go looking for some flying lost souls, the mangled damned, maybe even a tiny fire demon or two.
Okay, enough of this. You've got plans already, buddy.
But before before we get a break, we're going to take a closer look at the demon spawn in front of me, Lucifer himself, the Prince of Darkness, Satan. Okay, first you want to grab this little bitch by the horn.
Get off!
Take off the cross bed. See the anger in his blooming eyes. And I'm going to just take your thumb right and just get it up in here.
Oh, my God!
Really a man. All right, now we're going to try to roll him over his belly. Even in hell, he's got stories to tell. He's Steven in the crocodile hunter. You betcha.
In hell? Crikey. 1203, or is he just looking a little cranky? Is that what you said? Charlie Crist. Remember Charlie?
You fairy.
Shoring up his conservative base, Attorney General Charlie Crist has tapped State Representative Jeff Kottkamp of Cape Coral to be his running mate on the Republican governor's ticket for November. And what's wrong with having a governor? Kottkamp, 45, a rising star in the House who has made his name as a staunch defender of the courts and opposed to radical litigation reforms, is a safe choice that also helps Crist send an olive branch to conservatives. Conservatives have been miffed by Crist's recent rhetoric that he's soft on abortion and supportive of civil unions for gay couples.
You fairy.
He's a great man, a great leader, a man of great integrity, Crist said. He said he made the decision yesterday because in the end, you got to go with what you think is right. In the end,
rectum.
There's a great bond here, he said. Oh, they're good buddies. Kottkamp said he gladly joined the ticket because he's been an admirer of Crist since they first met in 1998 when Crist was running for U.S. Senate. He's been an admirer. Just like I'm an admirer of my close personal friend from Berlin, who I'm sure I'll never see again, but nevertheless, I'm a big admirer. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I admire it. Charlie Crist is deep down in my heart going to be an awesome governor, Kottkamp said, noting that Crist brings the vision, the integrity, and the heart needed for the job. In other words, gay. Kottkamp has long been allied with Crist, stepping up early on as a supporter. Earlier this year, Kottkamp penned a letter to Crist's more conservative challenger, State Chief Financial Officer Tom Gallagher, asking him to withdraw from the race for the good of the party. Gallagher, who trailed badly in the polls, did not withdraw and was handily defeated last week by Crist. Kottkamp is also associated with Cape Coral developer Greg Eagle, who helped fund a third-party electioneering group that backed Crist. Kottkamp's only apparent minus for hardcore conservatives, he's a trial lawyer. During the spring lawmaking session, he stood up to the business lobby, which showed up at a committee meeting with a videographer to record clips of lawmakers that later could have been used on the campaign trail against any member who spoke out against lawsuit limitations, which ultimately passed the legislature. Kottkamp spoke out anyway. How do you like that? He's got a big pair. Maybe that's why Charlie and him are so tight. He's got a big pair. Kottkamp hails from a critical Republican area of the state. He was elected in 2000 to District 74, which includes Lee and Charlotte counties. That's where the Beasleys are over there, those tree huggers, and was chairman of the Lee County Bar Association prior to that. Kottkamp had a life-changing experience in 2004 when he underwent heart surgery and narrowly survived a massive infection he contacted in the hospital. As he struggled to live, Hurricane Charlie blew outside and his wife struggled with a difficult pregnancy. Sounds like some tough times, man. Not as tough as Anna Nicole Smith, though.
No, brutal.
Now, I don't have any... Well, there is no update.
No. It might have been something or not.
Well, what do you mean by that? In other words, it might have been some drugs?
He died from something or not.
He died in a chair. He was visiting Mommy, and she just sprang forth with a baby girl on Saturday, and he was visiting her on Sunday or whenever it was, or Monday, and he's sitting in the chair in the room, and they were playing with the baby and potchking around, and he died. 20 years old. And I don't care what you say, before he grew all that schmutz on his face and became kind of a slime ball, he did look pretty good. Maybe God was punishing him for that beard. And I don't want to be insensitive. That's bad. You know, if he would have been ugly, I wouldn't care. But
that's right.
No, seriously. Do we really look? Let's face it. I mean, people are so full of crap. Don't we root for good-looking people? I don't know why, because most of us are uglier than sin anyway. But you just have a tendency to root for good-looking people. Ugly people, we don't care, right?
Right.
That's bad. But that's very bad. That's very superficial, man. But
that's
too
us.
bad. That is right. That is us. That's human nature. It's just the way we are. Most of you would lie about it. So I remember a call I had a few months ago. It was very amusing. You'll remember it. The guy called and said, "You ever bet on jockeys or drivers because of the way they look, because they're good looking?" I mean,
yeah. And
I said, "Of course not." My favorite harness driver of all time was like a 72-year-old man, Francis O'Hare. I mean, it's one thing to root for somebody because they look good, if you don't have a betting interest. But if you're betting, you're going to bet, well, unless you're a total idiot, It's like if you're watching a women's tennis thing, Who are you going to root for, Maria Sharapova or, I don't know. I don't know who any of them are. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Billie Jean King.
There you go. That old dyke. You're not going to root for her. It's like if Andy Roddick is playing somebody. I don't care about tennis. I couldn't give a crap less. Even though he got his ass kicked by that ugly Federer guy. That's he's ugly, Roger Federer. Am I going to root for him? Of course not. No. Anybody bet on tennis? I bet you Eddie K bets on tennis. You think?
They got to. They must.
That crowd. Maybe even Hank puts bets in on tennis. Somebody ought to ask him this afternoon. You make bets on tennis? I mean, that's really sick. Gabriel Range, the British producer, director, creator of Death of a President, the fictional documentary that sight unseen became one of the most talked about movies at the Toronto Film Festival, has sold U.S. distribution rights to Newmarket Films, which handled Mel Gibson's equally provocative movie, The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, my God.
That's Mel Gibson. Newmarket, which reportedly paid $1 million for the film, is expected to give President a wide release within the next few months. It'll air on Britain's Channel 4 next month. Wow. What do you think, mate? You want to go to over there across the pond and watch it on Britain's Channel 4?
Crikey, keep the stingrays away.
Range's film opened Sunday night to a sellout festival crowd, which sat respectfully through it and applauded briefly at the end. Those who remained after the screening peppered the filmmaker with questions on how he achieved his special effects. The film is shot as if it were a conventional TV documentary, even though the events are fictional. Oh, that sounds like the thing that ABC passed off for 4 hours. Range, who also co-wrote the film, uses footage taken of Bush during 3 visits to Chicago to create the scenes that lead up to the president being shot. He also uses special digital effects to superimpose the head of the president on that of an actor pretending to be shot and creates the flowery eulogy delivered by President Dick Cheney at the funeral of his predecessor. The movie opens with demonstrations against Bush as he visits Chicago in 2007. As he leaves the hotel after delivering a speech, he is shot by a sniper in a nearby building. A police hunt leads to the arrest of a Palestinian man on flimsy evidence. Like Sirhan.
Who?
Later, the man is convicted of the assassination and kept in prison, even as evidence points to another person as having committed the crime. The reaction of the general public was very good, Range said in an interview with Reuters about the opening night response. People didn't know what to expect. Our film has a very striking premise, but it's not sensational or gratuitous. I hope people will see it as a balanced film and compelling drama. It's an oblique look at the ways the U.S. has changed since 9/11. We use the lens of the future to explain the past. The 93-minute film's subject matter has led to protest in the U.S., especially from conservatives. Rain said he's received 5 or 6 death threats. That's those good conservatives, man. Those are good abortion doctor killers. But he said that because there was a rush to judgment about his film without people even knowing what was in it, we portrayed the horror of assassination. I don't think anybody would get the idea of assassinating Bush from this film, Rain said. And, of course, we have no comments. Anyway, how many votes we got on the poll? Let's see. We've got, moving right along, 1106. What person sums up what America has become today? Paris Hilton, even Bush ain't going to catch her ass. And who the hell would want to, anyway? She is a skanky, no-talent, rich bitch who was born with a golden spoon up her mouth and maybe up her other place. And she's just obnoxious, you know. And the paparazzi and the media and all these Entertainment Tonight and Inside Edition and Outside Edition and Current Affair and Recent Affair and Future Affair, they're all obsessed with this bitch. And so, therefore, we're supposed to care about her, okay?
Yep.
If she croaked right now, if she had like wild diarrhea on a sidewalk in L.A. somewhere, no matter what it is, if she had another drunken episode, I don't care. Oh, there's John Kerry. He looks really scary.
With an al-Qaeda that has reconstituted itself in some 65 countries.
The debate has been rekindled by the unexpectedly strong comeback of the Taliban in the South.
Oh, I can't imagine why that's happening. Must be our good friends the Pakis are making all kinds of deals with them. Wait till you hear the story I got from with Pervert, if I get time to get to it, Pervert Musharraf. He says the Taliban's a bigger threat than al-Qaeda, and I'm sure that he's got nothing to do with that.
Right.
Oh. All you kids out there, the world is a bunch of crooks, okay? Our crooks are the good guys, the other guys' crooks are the bad guys. That's the way it is, okay? All a bunch of gypsies, tramps, and thieves, crooks, gangsters, grave robbers. And just like Dick Cheney, man, they can never get enough. They can never get enough blood out of the public. You know, I mean, you're going to be a rip-off artist. You're going to scam the public with all the Halliburton cash. I guess he's probably committed to raising them about 20, 30 billion, you know. So he's still got some more work to do before his ticker gives out. Oh, we don't want to suggest that.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Question.
I'm under the judge. I'm under the judge. He's so cuckoo. I'm under the judge. He's so good. He's really good. I'm Medina Judd. His name's Medina Judd, and he's kind of like Mel Gibson with a big scruffy beard, and he wears a brown jacket that looks like he bought it at Banana Republic off the discount rack. I'm under the Judd. I'm under the Judd. He's so cuckoo. I'm under the Judd.
He's so cuckoo. He's really cuckoo.
All right. And he loves Iraq, baby. He loves his buddy Maliki. 1,119 votes. I think we ought to go for 13 today. Don't you think we ought to shoot for 1,300? Or how about just 13 votes? Maureen Dowd writes, boy, this is kind of long today, Maureen, but it's very good. And she even quotes some Shakespeare in here, too. Boy, I hope that I read this very well, okay? She's intimidating to me because she uses a lot of big words. She says, I called Tim Russert to ask if Dick Cheney had washed his hands after their interview on Sunday. No, he replied, sounding confused. Any sort of scrubbing, I wondered? Antiseptic wipe, Purell, quick shower on the way out? No, Tim assured me, the Vice President did not stop at the basement shower at NBC or even drop by the men's room you pass on the right as you head out to the parking lot. According to the Times Health section yesterday, Lady Macbeth and Pontius Pilate were not alone in wanting that damned spot out. People who washed their hands after contemplating an unethical act were less troubled by their thoughts than those who did not, Benedict Carey wrote about a new study on the Macbeth effect published in the journal Science. How do you like that? I wonder if Joel Feinberg's washing his hands a lot these days. I hear Daddy's washing his hands at him. Anyway, Maureen goes on to say, in one of several experiments among Northwestern undergraduates, the researchers had one group of students recall an unethical act from their past, like betraying a friend, and another group reflect on an ethical deed, like returning lost money, the article said. Afterward, the students had their choice of a gift, either a pencil or an antiseptic wipe. Those who had reflected on a shameful act were twice as likely as the others to take the wipe. If Dick Cheney didn't try to hose himself down after his outlandish performance on Meet the Press, he may be so deep in denial he doesn't even know he's ruining America needs a symbolic moral superwash. Since W revealed he's been reading Shakespeare, including Macbeth, I've been puzzling over which character the Vice President most resembles. Iago?
I beg your pardon?
Oh. He's got it. Well, I want to pronounce it right. I don't know Macbeth. And I read Macbeth? Of course not. He's got as much malignant sway over the protagonist as Iago, but Iago hated Othello. I didn't read any of that crap. I read Merchant of Venice.
No,
Lord, I remember that Sherlock Holmes.
Romeo and Juliet?
No. I saw the movie, though, with what's his name? Oh,
Leonard Whiting.
Why'd you have to bring that up? What the hell was his name?
Leonard Whiting.
Now, how did you remember that? You're not supposed to remember that.
You fairy.
Olivia de Hussey and a few others people that I can mention.
And did she use Hussey, Olivia Hussey?
No, but you did see your boob.
And Leonard Whiting, I think you saw his
rectum. But
wow. Anyway, the Lord of the Underworld is more like Lady Macbeth, who persuades her partner, Lord of the Underworld meaning Cheney, who persuades her partner to make a huge error in judgment by taunting him about manliness. If he doesn't want to be unmanned, he must preemptively wield a dagger against his rival. She tells him, when you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Even though blood will have blood, Macbeth decides he must stay on his self-destructive path. I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. You following that? Go o'er.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. They sure talked funny then, and they still talk even funnier now. W and Vice went on TV this week to double down on their dishonest case, now contradicted by a mountain of evidence, once more milking our sorrow over 9/11 to justify their errant course in Iraq. In a speech that Tony Snow promised would be reflective, the president used hyperventilated rhetoric about a struggle for civilization and cynically retraced the line he now knows is false, once again linking Osama and Baghdad. If we yield Iraq to men like bin Laden, our enemies will be emboldened, he said. Bin Laden has become the Willie Horton of the midterms. After letting the CIA disband the unit devoted to hunting for Osama, the Senate took a slap at the White House on Thursday when it voted to reinstate it. Mr. Bush now won't stop talking about the boogeyman he ignored for 5 years while he transferred all his resources to Iraq. The safety of America depends on the outcome of the battle in the streets of Baghdad, he said. Instead of going after Osama, we invaded Iraq. Now W says we must stay in Iraq or it'll be run by Osamas. We must kill all the terrorists we're creating. American soldiers must keep dying because American soldiers have died. If we criticize Mr. Bush, then we're unmanning the whole country. The logic is deviously Rovian and we're trapped in circularity. On Meet the Press, Mr. Cheney warned that America cannot let its adversaries break our will and show we don't have the stomach for the fight. It was the right thing to do, Vice insisted, of the war in Iraq, and if we had to do it over again, we'd do exactly the same thing. After all the miscalculations and billions wasted, projects screwed up, lives and limbs lost, foreign enemies made, American stature squandered, Taliban strength regained, North Korean bombs and Iran-Iraq alliances built, visiting the American-hating, Holocaust-denying Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad yesterday, Prime Minister Nouri Kamal al-Maliki of Iraq called Iran a good friend and brother. Dick Cheney wouldn't do anything differently after all of this? Part of leadership has to be retooling, saying, you know what, this hasn't worked, this is making things worse, what else can we do? Break out the wet wipes, Mr. Cheney, time for a good scrubbing, says your close friend Maureen Dowd. When in doubt, scrub it out.
Brushing, 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 brushing.
Rectum. Yeah, that too. Couldn't hurt. Wow. Sorry about that Shakespeare and stuff, but am I going to pretend to know about that crap? Am I some kind of a pseudo-intellectual?
I thought they made us
not.
all read that stuff in school. They made us read Macbeth and
Well, they made you think I read The Merchant of Venice because I wanted to read The
No.
Merchant of Venus?
They didn't make you read Hamlet?
No.
You must have been in
But I did have a couple of omelets.
Okay.
How's omelet doing, by the way, and how's toast?
It's fine. By the way, did we get our menu back from him, Josh?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good. I told him to give it back to Josh, and he goes over to give it to Clarence. That's Clarence. This is
Don't give nothing to Clarence. It's got to do with us, okay? Because he is the enemy. We have met the enemy, and he is him. He is it. I think I left a couple letters off that. He is. Anyway, I got a really good... Oh, boy. Now, if you didn't see... it was the show... It wasn't Loose Change. It was the show about Loose Change. And they had one of the kids that created that movie, Loose Change, and then they also had this jackass from Popular Mechanics. Now, see, with me, if you'd have said Popular Mechanics is spending a lot of time debunking the 9/11 theories,
yeah,
I'd have said,
huh?
What? Yeah, exactly. What's that all about? When you said that?
That's what I did say when you told me.
But that was Popular Mechanics stuff. Well, I think I'll save that for a second. And then we got the Dixie Chicks that Bush is a dumb F, a dumb... and your buddy Musharraf, Taliban, bigger threat than al-Qaeda. I got all kinds of crap here, man. I got crap up the nose. Oh, here's there's a quickie before the break. Good story. A former city official in Dallas who's under investigation in an FBI corruption probe was arrested for public intoxication after claiming he was robbed by naked and scantily clad attackers at a male strip club, authorities said. Police arrested D'Angelo Lee early Sunday outside Club Nubian Fantasies, and that's spelled C-I-E-Z, Fantasies, a dance club that becomes an all-nude male revue after midnight. After midnight. Who did that? After midnight.
Eric Clapton. You've asked me that before.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting. I keep
block.
reaching out for that sheet. I got it written down now, but the sheet keeps flying out the window. Police said he told them he was attacked by 3 men, one naked, another one only in a towel. Oh, boy. Probably covering up his bowel. Lee told police the men threw him out of the club, broke his glasses, and stole his wallet, though he later found a wallet. I bet you it was empty. Club employees told police they removed Lee, who said he was there picking up women because he was causing a disturbance. Lee later called the incident just stupid, just really frivolous, and said he was only trying to get his wallet back. Lee resigned from the City Planning Commission last year after being targeted in the FBI's corruption investigation into Dallas City Hall. He's been accused of voting on zoning cases where he was a paid consultant and now reporting gifts, and a bunch of other stuff.
All these things.
Hey, like that. He was at a male strip club. And there was nude guys there, too. Aren't you shocked by that?
No.
Well, there's Harry Reid, man. Is he exciting or what, huh?
Specific target, the president's prime time speech marking Monday's anniversary of an...
Oh, this Tony guy. What is his name? This light, dark-complected guy, whatever, on CNN? He gives me the goosebumps. He's so bad.
Wrote to President Bush, urging him to work with us to chart a new course in Iraq.
He represents the Democratic Party, man.
Judging by his comments to the nation Monday night,
he's got a voice
the
like Rita
President
Cosby.
isn't interested in working with us. Regrettably, President Bush is still determined to stay the course, even if the course is making America less safe and Iraq, of course, less stable.
Absolutely.
How's Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi?
What is this guy? What is his name? Tony what?
I don't know. Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh, he's got all these wise-ass comments. He's like, what's her name? Kira Phillips. They're all these newsreaders, man. They all got these real cutesy comments. He tries to be a real clown. He's a jerk. Not like Wolf Blitzkrieg, but boy, do we ever hate CNN or what? Except, of course, for a couple of people. Who do we like?
I'm thinking.
Susan Candiotti.
Okay.
Who else is on there we like? Anybody?
I'm thinking.
Lou Dobbs.
All right.
Well, you like him anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're an illegal alien.
I think being.
I got news for you, man. He would hightail your ass out of
I'm here
Dodge.
legally. He makes the point every day.
He doesn't care. He don't like your last name.
He says he
Biggest
cares.
names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Excelente, WQAM.
I'm an angry Cuban man with a lot to say. In a Spanish dialect that no one can translate, I call in radio talk shows to change the world my way. But I say it in Cuban. Baby talk's what I'm using. I sit in traffic all day on the Palmetto Expressway. The cars not go So I use my cell phone to call my favorite talk shows, and I say, hola. I'm a 40-year-old man. You may find that hard to believe. My broken English is so bad. I sound like a baby. But just the same, I make demands that you agree with me and understand my human baby talk. I'm using broken human.
Oh, that sounds like some of those great Cuban artists from the doo-wop shop. You remember them, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
How about Mickey and Sylvia? Where were they from? Love is Strange?
I don't know where they were from.
Get some Strange? Anyway, Kim Sengupta. I wonder if he's kin to Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Or maybe Anderson Pupta. At any rate, he writes in the Independent UK. Uh-oh, Mickey and Sylvia. You know that was #1 before it came out, and that was the record that led to the part of the big payola scandal with Peter Tripp, the curly-headed kid in the third row, on WMGM 1050 in New York. And he went to jail, and some of the other guys got away like scot-free.
Nice.
Scott Regan and Scott Munich. I can still nail them, baby. And the songs, too.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Soldiers reveal horror of Afghan campaign. Oh, no, not of the Independent. Must be some more of that left-wing propaganda. Soldiers deployed in Helmand province 5 years on from the U.S.-led invasion and 6 months after the deployment of a large British force have told the Independent that the sheer ferocity of the fighting in the Sangin Valley and privations faced by the troops are far worse than is generally known. Isn't it great that we're getting all these good reports, all the good things that are happening?
Yeah, it's great.
We are flattening places we've already flattened, but the attacks keep coming. We have killed them by the dozens, but more keep coming, either locally or from across the border, one said. We've used B-1 bombers, Harriers, F-16s, Mirage 2000s. We've dropped 500-pound, 1,000-pound, even 2,000-pound bombs. At one point, our Apaches ran out of missiles, and they fired so many. Almost any government on the ground gets ambushed. We need any movement on the ground gets ambushed. We need an entire battle group to move things. Yet they will not give us the helicopters we've been asking for. We've also got problems with the Afghan forces. The Army on the whole is pretty good, although they're not often paid properly, kind of like at QAM. But many of the police will not fight the Taliban either because they're so scared or they're sympathizers with them. I wonder if the Crow went over there and is fighting with them. I sure hope he gets paid this time. British officers in Helmand acknowledge that the next few months will be crucial in this conflict, which they insist can still be won with an additional 1,000 extra fighting troops. Last week, General James Jones, I wonder if he's kin to the Woodbine jockey John O. Jones. The NATO military chief called for 2,500 extra troops, armor, and helicopters from member states. But at the Warsaw summit currently underway, the countries with significant forces, Germany, France, Italy, and Turkey, say they'll have their hands full with Lebanese peacekeeping duties and have no troops to spare. The anxiety has been deepened by the decision of the Pakistani military to go to do a deal with the militants and withdraw from some of the border areas. Oh, that's got to be propaganda, isn't it? The government of President Pervert Musharraf said the Taliban had promised in return not to continue to cross into Afghanistan to mount attacks, a declaration that a senior British officer described as risible. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Look it up.
Look it up. R-I-S-I-B-L-E. We did this once before, you know. See, when you read the Independent, they're like Marine Dow. Don't tell me I got 2 stories in a row I can't read the damn words. I'm going to have to start taking some calls. British forces in Helmand had not originally planned to go into Sangin, but when the provincial governor, Mahmoud Daoud, I'm sure he's kin to Dan Daoud, who used to play for the Maple Leafs, appealed for help from President Hamid Karzai to counter increasing Taliban activity, the U.S. commander in the country asked British troops to move in. The result has been that overstretched forces have come under constant attack. Lieutenant General Richards, who says British forces have been involved in some of the fiercest fighting since Korea, has now decided to withdraw from outlying positions, which will be taken over by the Afghan forces. It's a decision that some have questioned. An officer who served in Helmand said we'll have to ask, can we rely on them, especially the police? Did you look up risible?
Capable of laughing, disposed to laugh.
Laughable.
Yes.
In other words.
Right.
He continued, we didn't expect the ferocity of the engagements. We've also expected the Taliban to carry out hit-and-run raids. Instead, we've often been fighting toe-to-toe, endless close-quarters combat. It's been exhausting. I remember when we had to extract a Danish group which was getting attacked on all sides. It was bedlam. We have greater firepower, so we tend to win, but of course they can take their losses while our casualties will invariably lead to concern back home. You also have to think that each time we kill one, how many more enemies we're creating. And of course the lack of security means hardly any reconstruction is taking place now, so we're not exactly winning hearts and minds. This is Afghanistan, by the way, just a reminder, not Iraq. This is Afghanistan, where we were told, oh, we've done a hell of a job there. Heck of a job, Brownie Hound. The flag-draped coffins carrying the bodies of 14 British servicemen killed when the reconnaissance plane crashed in Afghanistan were returned home yesterday to a somber reception in Scotland. A ceremony for the victims of last week's Nimrod crash, Britain's worst single loss during its current deployment, was held at RAF Kinloss in Moray. Well, I hope that wasn't named after a Moray eel, do you think?
Who?
Steve, what's his name, would be really upset about it. Irwin.
Crikey.
Air Force chiefs and the Duke of Edinburgh joined the families of the airmen for the repatriation, at which Des Brown, the defense secretary, described the 14 as outstanding, brave, dedicated, and of course the one thing he left out, dead. Very, very dead, as this lunacy goes on. $300 billion they peed away in Iraq, man. If they could have finished that off in Afghanistan, they could have had al-Qaeda and the whole group, man. Osama Yamama. They could have had Mullah Omar. The fact that the Taliban have reconstituted and are back bigger and better than ever and just out of control, and the media's not having a nervous breakdown about this?
The media?
The media
Who are you
is
talking
sick
about?
and needs help badly. I don't know. Lou Dobbs, he's too busy with people named Rodriguez. It's his problem. One note Charlie. Yeah, one note Charlie, that's all he knows, is he hates your people.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
He hates illegals.
No, he hates anybody.
So you're doing the same thing that those illegal advocates are doing. You're blurring the lines.
You're doing I'm not talking about the issue. I'm talking about him. I'm talking about him.
He said he loves Spix.
Is that what he said?
That's a quote.
No, he said he washed with spick and span is what he said. No, he said he washed with Spix and he eats spam, I think is what Lou Dobbs said. I guarantee it looks like he's eating plenty of spam to me. Big. His you know something? He's like a white... Yeah, that's how big his head is. 1167, man. Do you think we're going to make that 1,300? I have my doubts now. I think we set the bar a little bit too high. Don't you?
Yeah, maybe.
We set that bar a little bit too high, so pull up a chair, sit up as high as you can.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM. It's time to get it on.
Last door. I'll have you know, that's my very last toy.
So from the first time that I heard that, which I just love it, of course, I kept trying to think, what the hell is the original song that's a parody from?
Did you figure it out?
Yes.
And?
I think. Last Night by the Marquis. No? In other words, you don't know?
We're going to find out. Sounds right. Yeah! Way to call it.
Maybe I do. What a memory, man. Unbelievable.
We're twisting in here.
Are you really? You're twisting it?
Not what you think, though.
No, I know what it is.
All right.
Also, the guy's named Tony Harris is that that kind of media mocha guy there on CNN who thinks he's a real hotshot. He's like all of those people. He thinks he's a journalist, you know, and keeps interjecting these stupid-ass comments. Just read the teleprompter, okay, Tony, and cut the crap. I mean, you know, if he just would be a newsreader, he'd be great. He's, you know, he's articulate, he's fine. But he's got to keep opening up his stupid mouth. But that's their... speaking of opening a stupid mouth, there's Hugo Chavez.
Security Council.
He says that Bush did 9/11 is what he said. Isn't that a surprise?
I'm surprised.
Oh, speaking of that, what a good segue. I can't believe you actually have that. So, in other words, I must have that on my iPod.
Yes, you do.
Is that part of the collection?
That's right.
Great. Debunking Popular Mechanics' 9/11 lies. Popular Mechanics has re-entered the media circus in an attempt to continue its 9/11 debunking campaign that began in March of last year. A new book claims to expose the myths of 9/11 truth movement, yet it is Popular Mechanics who have been exposed as promulgating falsehoods while engaging in nepotism, shoddy research, and agenda-driven politics. It comes as no surprise that Popular Mechanics is owned by Hearst Corporation. As fictionalized in Orson Welles' acclaimed film Citizen Kane, William Randolph Hearst wrote the book on cronyism and yellow journalism, and Popular Mechanics hasn't bucked that tradition. That's bucked with a B. The magazine is a cheerleader for the sophistication of advanced weaponry and new technology used by police in such areas as crowd control and anti-terror operation. A hefty chunk of its advertising revenue relies on the military and defense contractors. Since the invasions of Afghanistan, Iraq, and in the future, Iran, all cite 9/11 as a pretext, what motivation does the magazine have to conduct a balanced investigation and risk upsetting its most coveted clientele? Popular Mechanics' March 2005 front cover story was entitled Debunking 9/11 Lies, and has since become the bellwether reference point for all proponents of the official 9/11 fairy tale. Following the publication of the article and its exaltation by the mainstream media as the final nail in the coffin for 9/11 conspiracy theories, it was revealed that senior researcher on the piece, Benjamin Chertoff, is the cousin of Michael Chertoff, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Heck of a job, Michael. This means that Benjamin Chertoff was hired to write an article that would receive nationwide attention about the veracity of the government's explanation of an event that led directly to the creation of Homeland Security, a body that his own cousin now heads. No conflict of interest there. You see one? This is unparalleled nepotism and completely dissolves the credibility of the article before one has even turned the first page. The arguments presented in the article have been widely debunked by the 9/11 truth community as an example of a straw man hatchet job whereby false arguments are erected, attributed to 9/11 skeptics, and then shot down. One of the most glaring errors in the Popular Mechanics hit piece appears in the Intercept Not Routine section, where it is claimed that in the decade before 9/11, NORAD intercepted only one civilian plane over North America, golfer Payne Stewart's Learjet in October of 1999. As Jim Hoffman points out in his excellent rebuttal, this bold assertion flies in the face of a published report of scramble frequencies that quotes the same Major Douglas Martin that is one of PM's cited experts. From September 11th to June, NORAD scramble jets had diverted combat air patrols 462 times, almost 7 times as often as the 67 scrambles from September 2000 to 2001, Martin said. The article also makes no mention whatsoever of the numerous war games scheduled for the morning of 9/11, which confused air defense personnel as to the true nature of the attack as it unfolded, as is documented by the recent release of the NORAD tapes. You know, if I can interject here for just a second. Assuming that it really was only al-Qaeda and this group of lunatics who were involved, where would they have gotten the information that there were going to be war games on that morning? Only from somebody in the government, perhaps. Who else would have known about that? Or maybe some commie pinko, some leftist. A section on the collapse of the World Trade Center fails to address firefighters and other individuals who reported numerous explosions before the towers fell, squibs of debris seen shooting out of the towers well below the collapse point, and the fact that the towers fell only slightly slower than absolute free fall. The article was released before analysis conducted by BYU physics professor Stephen Jones discovered traces of thermite in steel samples taken from the World Trade Center. Using advanced techniques, we're finding out what's in these samples. We're finding iron, sulfur, potassium, and manganese. These are characteristic of a variation of thermite, which is used to cut through steel very rapidly. It's called thermate, said Professor Jones. The article regurgitates pancake and trust theories, yet fails to acknowledge the comments of World Trade Center construction manager Frank DiMartini, who before 9/11 stated the buildings were designed to take multiple airliner impacts and not collapse. The article also completely fails to answer why pools of molten yellow metal were found underneath both towers and Building 7 subsequent to the collapses. The classic crimp implosion of Building 7, which was not hit by a plane, is glossed over as the piece again tries to mislead its readers into believing that over-engineered steel buildings collapse from fire damage, an event unprecedented in world history aside from 3 examples in one single day. Commenting on his own interview for the magazine piece, Alex Jones said that initially he thought it was a fake interview or a crank call. Jones has given hundreds of TV and print interviews and thousands of radio interviews, but his experience with Benjamin Chertoff was like no other. People from school newspapers sound more credible and serious, he said, like from the Weekly Reader. Jones had to call Popular Mechanic's office and verify that Chertoff actually worked for them. In the course of doing so, he was erroneously told by Editor-in-Chief James Meigs that the story was not going to be a hit piece and that it was simply intended to explore the different theories surrounding 9/11. Right. In addition, Popular Mechanics highlighted an article that Jones had posted on his website about incendiary devices in the World Trade Center. Jones' website features a cross-section of mainstream and alternative media articles. An article written by Jones himself is clearly labeled as such. The magazine had contacted the individuals featured in the article who told them they had not ever spoken to Jones. The article was clearly attributed to its original author, Randy Lavello, and not Alex Jones. When Jones asked Popular Mechanics if they were going to contact the individuals again and ask if they had spoken with the original author, they dropped the subject. As part of a PR campaign to sell its newly packaged crap, the book Debunking 9/11 Lies, Popular Mechanics' James Meigs appeared on The O'Reilly Factor. Meigs and O'Reilly need to be reminded that constantly parroting the word fact without presenting any actual evidence does not make something a fact. Meigs contradicts himself completely in claiming that no one has ever seen a 100-plus-story building collapse to the ground before, and yet less than 2 minutes later agrees with O'Reilly's comment that nothing unexpected about the impact of the planes or the collapse has surprised analysts. Meigs concurs that it's an unprecedented event and yet claims that analysts knew exactly what was going to happen. How could they have known the ins and outs of an event that had never happened before? Meigs calls the WTC implosion the most closely studied collapse in world history, yet fails to address the fact that 50,000 tons of steel from the World Trade Center, a supposed crime scene, was shipped to Asia and a further 10,000 tons to India, preventing any detailed analysis. Meigs, citing opinions of engineers, bizarrely states that the real surprise is that the building stood up as long as it did. In February 2005, the Windsor building in Madrid burned for over 24 hours as shooting flames engulfed almost the entire structure, and yet the building did not collapse. The core of the World Trade Center was exponentially much more robust than the Windsor building, so we have one building that burned incessantly for over 24 hours and did not fall at all, compared to two buildings which were structurally far superior, burned briefly from limited fires, and yet both collapsed within an average time of 79 minutes, and Meigs claims they should have collapsed sooner. Meigs claims that Popular Mechanics' investigation is not political, and yet the foreword to their book is written by none other than GOP darling Senator John McCain. Huh. You know, the one with the puffy cheek.
Oh, yeah. I got to take that phone call?
That's the one from the Vice President. In the foreword, McCain rehashes an abhorrent amount of neocon detritus that relies solely... I love that word. Schmidt. That relies solely on 9/11 having happened exactly as the government claims it did. We liberated Afghanistan from the murderous rule of the Taliban, our attackers proud hosts. We chased al-Qaeda around the globe, barks McCain. Afghanistan is now a failed narco-state run by tribal warlords and ex-Taliban kingpins. Nowhere outside of Kabul is secure. Malnutrition among children is the highest in the world outside Africa, and opium production is at record levels. Bellicose statements about chasing al-Qaeda around the globe are somewhat contradicted by the fact that al-Qaeda Iraq links were proven to be fraudulent, and outgoing CIA Director Buzzy Krongard told the London Times that bin Laden should stay free. Couple this with President Bush's view on bin Laden, I'm not really that concerned about him, and McCain's rhetoric falls flat on its face. McCain also uses the callous tactic of saying that questioning the government's version of 9/11 insults the victims, and this is also parroted in the Popular Mechanics magazine piece. Bill Doyle, representative of the largest group of 9/11 family members, says on this subject, if you want to believe what they want to snow you under, like on the 9/11 Commission, that's a total fallacy, says Doyle. It looks like there was a conspiracy behind 9/11 if you really look at the facts. A lot of families now feel the same way, he said. Doyle said that half the family members, relatives of 9/11 victims he represents, thought that the U.S. government was complicit in 9/11. Despite the efforts of Popular Mechanics to whitewash government complicity in 9/11 via a front-page feature story and a new book, recent polls clearly show an increasing trend toward a rejection of the official version of events. If we are to set aside the 30% of Americans that don't even know the year in which September 11th happened, then we're left with figures of around 36% who agree that the government was involved in the attack, and only 34% of Americans who actually knew in which year the attack took place that still think it was carried out solely by a ragtag group of 19 incompetent morons who couldn't fly Cessnas at the behest of a man on a kidney dialysis machine. Popular Mechanics are sure to make a tidy sum of money from their latest publication, but their credibility is certain to dwindle in light of the fact that they're willingly acting as collaborators by aiding the cover-up of a crime that resulted in the deaths of nearly 3,000 Americans on 9/11, and untold more to come as a result of how the attack changed U.S. foreign policy. How do you like them apples, huh? It was just a coincidence that those buildings, including Tower 7, you know. Maybe it was like an act of sympathy. It saw the other towers fall down. And
the biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Not just the 1 to 2 hour, it's a phenomenon.
Absolutely.
Hey, what the hell has Oprah Winfrey been drinking? Has she lost her mind? What the hell was she thinking? I never thought she'd chase girl's tail. Never suspected she did Gale. She's got Stedman who's half male.
You fairy.
She felt the need to say that she's not a les. They just go shopping together at Hermes. It's not a girl-on-girl hot fling. Don't borrow each other's G-string. She's not in love with Gail King.
Gay.
'Cause Oprah's not gay. She don't go that way. No season tickets to the WNBA. No, Oprah's not gay. She came up to say she's not a fan of the LPGA. She's not like Ellen, not into women. In fact, she says Gail is more like her twin. That's why they say.
You fairy.
Oprah's not gay.
Oh, there's that fat John Murtha.
To talk to the people that he represents, the young troops who are out in the field day after day in 120 degrees, carrying 70 pounds on their back, and tell them we don't have a crystal ball. They want answers. They want to know. And, of course, the reason is we don't have enough troops, so they have to be deployed over and over. And to say that because they're volunteers shows a complete insensitivity to the situation that these families go through. And I go to the hospitals all the time. And the thing that I worried about the most is the fact that the troops not only are in missions they don't understand in many cases, but also the future of the military. And I'm introducing a resolution today asking for a resignation of Secretary Don Rumsfeld, not only for his past mistakes. He said there are weapons of mass destruction. We know where they are. He said this war won't last 6 weeks, maybe 6 months. He said it cost $50 billion. We sent troops into battle without the appropriate armored vests. I was the one that found the armored vest shortages when I went to Iraq. So not only for his past mistakes, but for the future of the military. And that's the thing that I've worried about the most since I've spoken out is the readiness. We can talk about Iran and Iraq. We can talk about North Korea. But if you don't have a strategic reserve, which we don't have now, and those troops, when they're being trained, they don't have the equipment to train on, so they shift equipment all over the place. And then they go into a field where they get the equipment, but they aren't trained on the exact equipment they've used. Now, going back to General Schoomaker's comments, one of the problems we had in that operation was that those helicopters they flew, the pilots were not familiar with them.
All right, you're listening to...
Oh, see, they got to cut them off in midstream, and this is probably...
Oh, he's saying stuff.
Oh, no, I'm recording.
Out on troop readiness.
What?
Oh, he's
saying stuff, but she's interrupting. They're chopping him off in midstream. John Murtha. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If he wasn't an old fart, we ought to have him for president, you know what? Although they're already trying to Swiss vote his ass. You know, they're already doing that routine. It's the only way Karl Rove knows how to do it, baby. We got 1,200 plus votes. We could get that 1,300 if you really leaned on it, Josh. Are you leaning on it?
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm sure glad you got the menu back from those morning guys, from Toast and Frittata. Uh-oh, hostage situation at a bank in a South Chicago suburb.
Turned out to a hostage.
Oh, geez, who cares? Anyway, we got 1,210 votes on there, and what person sums up what America is today? Paris Hilton, 403. George Bush, 322. T.O. Terrell Owens, 80. Terrell. I'm going back to Terrell. You know, he can call himself whatever he wants, like a-hole. I'll go with that. Katie Couric, 79. I hate this poll, 72. Well, shame on you. Donald Trump, 60. Pat Robertson, 50. Tom Cruise, 42. P. Diddy, 31. Jerry Falwell's got...
About 30, man.
Reedy Crosby, 23. Crosby, whatever the hell that bitch's name is. What is her name?
Moment and then it turns to the other. One of the things, there's a report out there that maybe he was dealing with depression.
Yeah, I'm depressed just hearing that sound again. I say it every time, and he's only got 18 Shaq. Rita's got the edge on the Shackmeister. So that's where we are now. We got 12:10. We need 90 in 53 minutes. That's not even to a minute. Well, if we can't do that, man, we're done. Not as done as they are across the street, but we're done. So what rumors we hearing about them lately, Josh? Oh, I bet you that it was fat Zach Krantz that started all of that. You think?
Yeah, it must have been.
Well, who the hell else would be talking to our people, huh?
Joe Rose.
Stugatz.
Boog.
Right, but other than that, police are investigating. Oh. In other words...
Everybody.
Right. Yeah, you got a lot of loose lips over there. Loose lips sink ships, Joel and Daddy, or whoever the hell's running that operation over there. You guys suck, man. And your dolphin broadcast, I wouldn't wish those on Heinrich Himmler. God, I wouldn't wish those on William Crystal. William Crystal, he makes Heinrich Himmler look like a good humor man. That's what a Nazi he is. That's what a bastard he is. That's Nazi with a small n. Maybe with a big N. Police are investigating after a man wrote about launching a feline jihad to rid his Chattanooga suburb of stray cats. You ready for that?
Okay.
I think that's one I might be willing to join in on. Max Gerskin wrote a two-part series in the Chattanooga Pulse weekly publication, the first of which was published August 9th and called Madder Max, the Cat Lady and My New Dog. The second installment was published Wednesday and called Feline Jihad, the Cat Lady Part 2. In his commentary, Gerskin says the strays fed by a neighborhood cat lady have brought filth and disease to his home, and local Humane Society officials haven't been able to stop it. As a result, he wrote, I've officially become a trapper, and it's time to take a walk to the river. Right. Woo! A neighbor, Jean Watts, said she feeds about 10 local strays and is the cat lady in the articles. She said Gerskin has set traps in his yard and posted signs in the neighborhood alluding to dead cats. Watts also said some of the strays she normally sees have gone missing in recent weeks. Oh, I can't imagine where they are, can you? She believes the problem has more to do with the conflict with Watts about setting off fireworks, his setting them off, than the cats. Yeah, she don't like his fireworks. This is just as much about me as it is about them, she said. He's mad at me and he's taking it out on the cats. Gaskin didn't respond to requests for a comment, but he posted an online response Sunday at ChattanoogaPulse.com. He wrote that he's not been trying to kill the cats and was using Humane Society traps to help get them safe homes. Like a rat trap. Isn't that what you do like when you have a mouse trap?
Yeah.
Try to catch them so you can give them a safe home somewhere. Like in the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But Humane Education Society of Chattanooga Director Guy Bellew said Monday there is no record that Gerskin was in possession of any of the organization's traps. Bellew said he planned to meet with Gerskin to discuss the issue further. We can't pass judgment on a written article, he said. This could be just somebody bragging. We don't know. Red Bank, Tennessee police said that they're investigating the situation, looking for some dead kitty cat. All you kids out there, do not stick the family cat in the microwave. And do not put it on slow cook for like 4 or 5 minutes. So, what?
Right, don't.
It's a bad idea. Well, we're not going to tell them to do that. It's a criminal act. Don't do it. Well, 1,220 votes on a pool. We got 80 to go in 50 minutes. Boy, this is going to be tense. You'll be pleased to know I got my shirt on, my pants on. Not my shoes yet, but that'll be during the break. Isn't that exciting?
Medium.
Well, that means I'm heading out to see my lady friends.
That's right. Going out on the town.
Man. See, you got that guy all whipped up. Tell us more. Tell us. That's it.
Yeah, I threw away the 2 other faxes that came in about the same thing.
Really? Same what?
Oh, I think I spat in the garbage.
It sounds like wishful thinking to me. Why is it not possible to have a lady friend without being like some...
Of course it is.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the idiots that you stirred up and all these psychosis you fomented. Oh, gee, maybe Neil really isn't
gay.
After all. Well, sorry, guess what? Surprise. Robert Breining was ready to cram down the hot dogs. Oh, speaking of that, he kept... Well, that's a good segue. He kept his stomach empty for nearly 2 days in preparation for the competitive hot dog eating contest at the Kansas State Fair in Hutchinson, Kansas. Oh, man. Sounds like your kind of town, George. But it took just 9 francs until Breining suffered what veterans of the competitive eating circuit call a reversal of fortune Monday afternoon.
Oh, boy.
You know what that means?
No.
Oh, well, we don't make any sounds. And when his team of 5 National Guardsmen finally won Nathan's hot dog eating contest, chomping down some 46 hot dogs with buns, Breining was a little too nauseous to take part in the celebration. It probably would be a long time, 3 longs, until he feasted on dogs again, the Queasy contestant said. Queasy, Mfume.
Mm-hmm.
Teams of sheriff's officers, media personalities, firefighters, and grocery clerks all competed in this year's hot dog eating contest, which drew 28 competitors Monday afternoon. Some were looking for entertainment. Others didn't want to pay for lunch. But nobody actually believed they could beat the world's best competitive eater, Takeru Kobayashi, who on July 4th, 2004, ate 53.5 wieners and buns in just 12 minutes, 1 franc every 13.45 seconds. Kansas best, Hutchinson radio personality Lucky Kid, One individual eating honors when he chopped down 14. But that don't even come close to 53.5. Before the gulping began, MC Ryan Nertz of the International Federation of Competitive Eating went over the contest rules and gave competitors a pep talk, rattling off a few championship eating records. 8 pounds of mayonnaise in 8 minutes, he said, as spectators groaned. Or how about 11 pounds of cheesecake in 9 minutes? 11 pounds of cheesecake. Well, to me, that's physical poetry, said Nertz, author of Eat This Book. That's the name of his book, Eat This Book. That's beauty and athleticism, he said. Yeah, it's more athletic than golf.
Sure.
To win the state's tasty title, eaters had just 12 minutes to eat as many hot dogs as they could. Nertz told the eaters they could use any strategy to get them down, but if the dogs came back up before 12 minutes, the contestant was disqualified. Oh, no, if they came back up.
Of course.
What do you mean, of course? There's plenty of places where they could wind up.
Rectum.
All 28 competitors met those standards, but Brenning wasn't the only one who fell prey to a digestive disorder once the contest was over. In other words, I think what they're trying to say, keeping his guts out. For spectator Pat Goatley, that was part of the fun. I just like watching people make fools of themselves while eating, Goatley said, one of hundreds of fans cheering on the fair's contestants. Obviously, there's lots of exciting things going on in Hutchinson, Kansas.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Okay, don't panic. This thing starts real low, as you know.
Okay.
The level is like...
Sorry.
You know. There you go. Just relax.
It's a terrorist warning.
Now panic.
So as you drive on into work,
Oh my God.
be alert. The White House says we're all doomed now. Can't be sure when they might strike next. Yeah, we're nervous wrecks because of all of the stress. Rumsfeld says we better watch out. He used the word I fear, nuclear. It's a terrorist warning. The government says be prepared. And I'm scared. They say not if, but when now. Non-specific threats are a joke. Yeah, think they're a hoax. They could give me a stroke. I think that I just will ignore it, yeah, and live my life. Enjoy the ride, live my life. Al-Qaeda vibes, terrorists, make you sick.
119 at 560 WQAM. We have 238 votes on a poll. We need 62 to get to 1,300. Boy, there's nothing wrong with 13. That's not a bad number.
No.
62 votes in 40 minutes. That's like 1.5 a minute. Piece of cake. By the way, since you're such a sports fan now, since we got football season going, Josh, what number does what's his name? See, I'm so tongue-tied I can't even say it. Brady Quinn wear for the Notre Dame?
That would be number 10.
There you go. Very good. I give him a 10. Now, this fax that you just sent me, by the way, George, this is just so typical, man. Again, giving instructions as to what I should do and what I should read and what I should say. Guess what? Wipe your butt with it, okay? Whoever sent this, anonymous. It says, Neil, I'm as left-wing as you can possibly be. Comunista. Can't stand the Bush administration and believe history will find them to be the worst of our lifetime. However, when you, Randy, or anyone else starts rattling off these ridiculous articles, editorials, theories about the government planting explosives in the World Trade Centers and or planning the attacks, you sound every bit as crazy as the lunatics who try to defend George Bush. Get freaking real already. This isn't a Die Hard with Bruce Willis fighting the terrorists planting the explosives in high-rise office buildings. The article you just read stated this was the first time in history that buildings had collapsed due to fire. Well, how many times prior to 9/11 have jet planes loaded with fuel slammed into 110-story buildings? Answer, none. I hate to break the news to you, sweetheart, but it wasn't the impact that made the buildings fall down allegedly. It was the fire. That's what we're talking about. That's what they're comparing, fire in the building. Smoke on the water and fire in the building. Anyway, it says our government effed up royally. We got hit hard. Then Bush exacerbated the situation with an obsession with Iraq, allowing Osama to remain free. Then he goes on to say, which I'm so relieved to find this out, because he says it, therefore must make it true. In addition to which, I didn't read the article because I'm selling the theory. Haven't I always said that Prison Planet and Alex Jones are way off there on the fringes and conspiratorial-minded? Haven't I always said that?
I think you have.
Yes, many, many times. But that doesn't mean that they're wrong. This is something for you to chew on. That's why I spent 2 hours of my life last night watching that great CBC documentary last night about 9/11, which was very fair and balanced and objective and didn't have an agenda, unlike the ABC piece of right-wing crap. And they took several shots at Clinton and, the 3 shots they had at Osama, and the fact that they were so concerned about collateral damage and killing innocent people that they let him get away scot-free, and that, they screwed up. But then they really ripped into Bush, and, they laid it out there for you. Most of it not narrated, but a lot of interviews with Richard Clark. But nevertheless, what the hell would he know, huh? The really tragic part at the end when they were having the 9/11 hearings, the 9/11 Commission, and he was there giving his testimony, and then there were a bunch of the families of victims of 9/11, and he was apologizing to them. It was tear your guts out. At least he had the balls to apologize, say we screwed up, Anyway, but here's the answer, okay? There's not a chance in hell, says this anonymous faxer. Our government was behind the 9/11 attacks. Stop trying to give credence to these ridiculous theories and focus on your unrelenting and deservedly so attacks on the moron in the White House. Well, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do, not because you say so, okay? I keep an open mind. That's why we put stuff on our website like Pentagon Strike and like Loose Change and like all of these things. That's why we put them on there so people can watch them. And they can, if you don't believe any of it, that's fine. You're entitled. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I've said this many times before, I wouldn't put anything past these bastards, okay, past these neocons. I wouldn't put anything. They're crazy people. All this bloodshed, all these people who are dying based on a bunch of lies. And like Richard Clark said, man, the day after, September 12th, 2001, and he's sitting there in a meeting, and there's Bush and Rumsfeld and Cheney and Colin Powell, all the top advisors, and they're sitting in a meeting, and almost immediately, all Bush wanted to talk about was invading Iraq, and the same with Rumsfeld. And Richard Clark thought that somebody must be joking. He said Iraq had nothing to do with this. And Rumsfeld chimes in with this crap about, well, there's no good targets in Afghanistan. There's only a lot of good targets in Iraq. I mean...
I know.
Huh?
It's surreal, like Rita Cosby being on TV.
No, what is surreal is the fact that the media accepts it so passively, and that the American public, these poll numbers come out. Well, 56%. How come it's not 99% of anybody with a brain?
The media doesn't accept it. They're in on it.
Well, they're a part of it. That's right. They've been bought, sold, and paid for. That's
by
correct.
the same people responsible for the situation.
Just like ABC.
Right.
We thought it was just Fox, okay? I mean, I told you CNN's been trying to outfox Fox for a long time now. By sucking up, just like during that Israeli invasion of Lebanon, the U.S. promoted, and financed. But ABC is right in there fighting, too. And, of course, CBS, they've already been spanked. They got a good spanking with the Janet Jackson fines, and then with Dan Rather, being sent out to pasture. So what do we got left? We got NBC, the Peacock, and, of course, General Electric owns NBC. And guess who gets a lot of those big contracts in places like Iraq? Not General Electric. Yeah. Although I will say this on the news the last couple of nights, all of a sudden they're like starting to go a little anti the fascists. Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. Amazing. Almost offers you a little bit of hope. But what does that leave? Maybe the WB, huh? Maybe the WB is going to save America. What do you say?
Maybe. It's
Miron
CW.
Rappaport. Oh, I love that name. Who writes for Haaretz?
The what? It's
the Israeli newspaper Haaretz. It's got like an apostrophe in there between the A's, eh?
All right, I posted a couple of articles from them over the vacation.
Well, good for you. I'm sure you did a hell of a job. Heck of a job, Brownie Hound, this summer. Didn't George do a great job? Let's hear it for George, huh? That's it. 26. How do you like that crap we had this morning? I thought about it last night. I was sitting there watching this documentary, and I thought about what you said, and after all of these years, finally, you're right.
About what?
I don't care.
Oh, yeah, but good.
Listen.
Mark it down.
I've got over 30 years in this market. I've been on this station 8.5, almost 9 years now.
God almighty.
They don't lift a finger to do anything. Well, they might lift a finger to us, to our face.
Yeah.
But they don't lift a finger to do anything positive for us. So just make sure the check is there a day or two early. Get it there on time. That's it. That's all I ask.
Don't care more than them.
That is correct. If there are spots missing on the log, if you have whatever, that's your problem, okay? That's your funeral. That's the Beasleys are going to miss a meal or two, but I doubt it.
Their ability to pay the bills.
That is correct. So screw it. No, you're right. It took all of these
live
years.
Longer, 10 years at least.
Well, I mean, you can't care when you work for people who don't care. That's the problem.
There you go.
All they want, like the sign on the wall, and we've had it there for over 8 years, just give us the effing money, and that's exactly what this company's all about. And we heard that this morning, basically. If somebody's willing to give us the money, we don't care what's going on. We'll say whatever the hell they want. And then that's what it boils down to. Plain and simple. Just give us the effing money. And that's fine as long as we get our chunk of it. In fact, I'm thinking about chunks right now. Blowing some. Chunks. 27 after 1 at 560 WQAM. Hey, it's time for you to get a new mattress if your old one just ain't cutting it no more, because there's nothing worse than not getting a good night's sleep. It screws up your whole day the next day. Don't waste your time and money schlepping around to those bedding and department stores where you really get ripped off, even during their so-called big sales, because Data Mattress gives you factory direct lowest prices all the time, even lower than those so-called sale prices, and Data Mattress gives you that delivery deal that's unparalleled in the universe. They also offer you 12-month financing, too. Call 1-800-Mattress. You'll get the best prices, the lowest prices in the world on Sealy, Inserta, King Coil, Simmons, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Hewitt. Data Mattress is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction because this whole deal all the way around, you can't beat it with a stick. 99.7% on-time delivery rate. You pick the date and time you want, a 2-hour window from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. any day, 7 days a week, and they show up on time virtually every time, like noon to 2, 1 to 3, 3:45 to 5:45, etc. They even show up on the very same day that you call, if you call like right now. You can be sleeping like a baby as soon as tonight. That is real service. So call Data Mattress. I've been using them for years, and you ought to be doing the same. There's nothing like it. The easiest and smartest piece of shopping that anybody could do. Call 1-800-Mattress, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for sellout.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The bloody bitches.
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. My beliefs are what's required to avoid a lake of fire. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. Why, my religion advocates bigotry and racial hate. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. What we like about it best, I fondle boys and wear a dress. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's much better than yours. We have no respect for women. Drive a cab to make a living. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's much better than yours. Chupacabra, spooky ghosts, we slaughter pigs and dogs and goats. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. We wear beanies and pigtails and never ever pay jail. My religion's better than yours. My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. We knock on doors to bother you like full of brush to spew our views. My religion's better than yours.
Oi! My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. We wear ties and ride our bikes and get to marry lots of wives. My religion's better than yours.
My religion's better than your religion. My religion's better than yours. We don't want to use our brains for mindless living on parade. My religion's better than yours.
Yeah, the more I think about that CNN poll, and of course now they're giving the other parts of the poll. They start out and they give you like the initial numbers,
Okay.
Oh, 90% of Americans believe in God. But then today they're like digging a little bit deeper into it and giving more of the findings. Well, in the South, 43.5% believed in the what was the word they used? Authoritarian God. You know, his wrath shall wax hot, and he's angry and pissed off, and there's going to be a lot of hurricanes and tornadoes and plagues and all this stuff. And boils. Man. How about Milton Boyle? And he was Jewish. At any rate, so it just goes to show you that all of this crap, they're just peddling a state of mind, Well,
right.
What kind of God have you invented in your mind, So all these people who claim that they believe in God, they're full of crap. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's just a term. It's just a word. And boy, have they done a good job peddling it, man. All the gods, all the time. Can you imagine how many thousand gods there have been through?
About 30, man.
30,000.
Right.
I bet it's a lot more than that.
Sure.
30 million gods.
Well, the Hindus have an infinite amount of gods.
Do they really?
They have gods for things that we haven't discovered yet.
But do they have...
Oh, God!
That's what I like
they
to
do.
know. Miran Rappaport, who writes for Haaretz, can I have like a little piece of Swiss cheese here?
Oh, I thought you were
I have it in my lunch.
drum roll or something.
I beg your pardon? Why is that?
The musical accompaniment. That's
No.
what I thought you were going to say.
Swiss cheese. It's Kraft, which I know you're going to be pissed off about. Sliced. What?
Kraft.
Why do you have such a bug up your ass about Kraft?
We already talked about it. They're evil.
Why?
Everything comes out of the same vat.
How come their cheese has trans fat in it, though? That's what I like to know.
Because they're evil and they're coming to get you.
Yeah. Oh, no. Maybe I should regurgitate. Maybe like the hot dog guy. Oh. What was that? Sounded like an echo. Anyway, this is from Haaretz. I should be eating and trying to read this stuff.
Yeah, bad radio.
Actually, what I'm going to do is reach over and shut that baby off. I took some calls earlier. That was fine. There was a couple of idiots, but it was okay. Right?
Right.
We're going to, like, ease into it. We don't want to overdo it. IDF commander, we fired more than 1 million cluster bombs in Lebanon, writes Miran Rappaport in Haaretz. What we did was insane and monstrous. We covered entire towns in cluster bombs, the head of an IDF rocket unit in Lebanon said, regarding the use of cluster bombs and phosphorus shells during the war. Quoting his battalion commander, the rocket unit head stated that the IDF fired around 1,800 cluster bombs containing over 1.2 million cluster bomblets. In addition, soldiers and IDF artillery units testified that the Army used phosphorus shells during the war, widely forbidden by international law. According to their claims, the vast majority of said explosive ordnance was fired in the final 10 days of the war. Remember how they kept saying, well, we need more time, we need another week, we need another month, we need another, The rocket unit commander stated that multiple launch rocket systems... See, you're right about that craft. I think it's making me like backup.
It'll kill you.
Blowback. The rocket unit commander stated that multiple launch rocket system platforms were heavily used in spite of the fact that they were known to be highly inaccurate. MLRS is a track or tire-carried mobile rocket launching platform capable of firing a very high volume of mostly unguided munitions. The basic rocket fired by the platform is unguided and imprecise with a range of about 32 kilometers, about 18 miles. The rockets are designed to burst into sub-munitions at a planned altitude in order to blanket enemy army and personnel on the ground with smaller explosive rounds. The use of such weaponry is controversial mainly due to its inaccuracy and ability to wreak great havoc against indeterminate targets over large areas of territory with a margin of error as much as 1,200 meters from the intended target to the area hit. The cluster rounds, which don't detonate an impact, believed by the United Nations to be around 40% of those fired by the IDF in Lebanon, remain on the ground as unexploded munitions, effectively littering the landscape with thousands of landmines, which will continue to claim victims long after the war has ended. I wonder what Princess Diana would think about that. Because of their high level of failure to detonate, it's believed that there are around 500,000, that sounds like 500,000 unexploded munitions on the ground in Lebanon. 500,000! To date, 12 Lebanese civilians have been killed by these mines since the end of the war. According to the commander, in order to compensate for the inaccuracy of the rockets and the inability to strike individual targets precisely, units would flood the battlefield with munitions, accounting for the littered and explosive landscape of post-war Lebanon. When his reserve duty came to a close, the commander in question sent a letter to Defense Minister Amir Peretz outlining the use of cluster munitions, a letter which has remained unanswered. Excessive injury and unnecessary suffering. It has come to light that IDF soldiers fired phosphorus rounds in order to cause fires in Lebanon. An artillery commander has admitted to seeing trucks loaded with phosphorus rounds on their way to artillery crews in the north of Israel. A direct hit from phosphorus shell typically causes severe burns and a slow, painful death. International law forbids the use of weapons that cause excessive injury and unnecessary suffering, and many experts are of the opinion that phosphorus rounds fall directly into that category. The International Red Cross has determined that international law forbids the use of phosphorus and other types of flammable rounds against personnel, both civilian and military. In response, the IDF spokesman's office said that international law does not include a sweeping prohibition of the use of cluster bombs. The Convention on Conventional Weaponry does not declare a prohibition on phosphorus weapons, rather on principles regulating the use of such weapons. For understandable operational reasons, the IDF does not respond to accounts of details of weaponry in its possession. The IDF makes use only of methods in weaponry which are permissible under international law. Artillery fire in general, including MLRS fire, were used in response solely to firing on the State of Israel. The Defense Minister's office said it hadn't received messages regarding cluster bomb fire. Right. And your mama throws socks in hell, too, right? Nice pay us, though. 1:40, we got the Mad Dog coming up at 2 o'clock. And then we got the, I'll tell you, that hour between 4 and 5 is a hoot. That's a good idea that I came up with some time ago.
The biggest names,
too bad I waited so long, you know?
This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Did he chuck it or did he cock it?
Condoleezza Rice will try to broker a ceasefire to bring an end to 2 weeks of fighting that has killed over 370 Lebanese and almost 40 Israelis.
Condoleezza Rice, you're willing to sacrifice your job.
We're also talking about a durable way to end the violence.
You took W's advice, and somehow I think you're there just for show. You've seen it before, it happens all the time. You never make peace with Israelis and Palestinians.
somehow policies that finally confront extremism are actually causing extremism. Our science report.
Yes, peace would be nice, but this is one mission you will blow.
But it didn't go so smoothly. She reportedly told Lebanese officials no ceasefire until Hezbollah frees 2 captured Israeli soldiers.
Yeah, there you go. Until we kill a whole bunch more people and drop a lot more cluster bombs. Okay, anyway, she was in Nova Scotia the other day, eh?
Was she?
Thanking all those fine folks for letting those planes land there on the 9/11. Remember they made all the planes in the air land?
Oh, yeah.
And that. And they're all whipped up about, Condoleezza was here. Well, they don't have much else going on. 1,278 votes. Now, we're not going to fall short, are we? We got 13 minutes. We need 22 votes. You people better not let us down. Because if we don't get to that 1,300 deal, I ain't coming back tomorrow or Friday. Or if I win the 22 million in the lotto tonight, I sure as hell ain't coming back tomorrow, Friday, or any other time. 22 million in the lotto tonight, eh? What do you think?
What? Good luck? Break a leg?
You better say good luck. I'd take care of you guys. I'd send you a couple of bucks.
I want you to win.
I'd send Josh about $10.
Bring it under this thing already.
Oh, yeah. Enough already, man. Enough. Just give us a bag of money. Enough. Very well said.
Right.
Speaking of that article I just read about cluster bombs, I'm tempted to say something else.
I know.
Non-lethal weapons such as high-power microwave devices should be used on American citizens in crowd control situations before being used on the battlefield, the Air Force Secretary said yesterday. The object is basically public relations. Domestic use would make it easier to avoid questions from others about possible safety considerations, said Secretary Michael Wynn. He must be related to Ed Wynn or Keenan Wynn because he sure got quite a sense of humor. If we're not willing to use it here against our fellow citizens, then we should not be willing to use it in a wartime situation, said Wynn. Because if I hit somebody with a non-lethal weapon and they claim that it injured them in a way that it was not intended, I think that I would be vilified in the world press. The Air Force has paid for research into non-lethal weapons, but he said the service is unlikely to spend more money on developments until injury problems are reviewed by medical experts and resolved. In other words, if you do die, at least you're lightly killed, you know. Non-lethal weapons generally can weaken people if they're hit with a beam. Some of the weapons can emit short, intense energy pulses that can also be effective in disabling some electronic devices. Kind of like a stun gun or like sticking your ass in a microwave, you know, like that. Isn't that exciting?
It can be.
High-power microwave devices. Let's zap them, baby. When in doubt, zap their ass out. That's it. That's the way to do it. Now, what do we got? We're going to make the 13? Because if we don't, I'm going to be... 12:83. We need 17 in 11 minutes. Boy, it's going to be tough. I thought when I refreshed that baby, it would be like 1,300 and something already. Didn't you?
I thought
so. We usually do it? Unless they've abandoned us now. 12:84. They're coming in by the ones. They're pouring in now.
Maybe it's all those conspiracy theories you're peddling.
That could be it, because I'm so anti-American, anti-Israeli. That must be it. Oh, Montreal shooting. 4 students shot, including one that the shooter shot himself. Dawson College in Montreal. Look at that. Looky, somebody shot Cookie.
These live pictures is right now showing a number of people on that corner.
Too many frogs there in Montreal.
Okay, these pictures actually are of Montreal, Canada, Carol. We're not going to go to that Dalton, Illinois story. Instead...
Oh, they had that bank robbery. Let's go to Dalton, Illinois or Montreal.
We've seen some of the recent tape of a number of students who were running out of the building. Now it appears at this corner here that there are a number of people and some...
12:86. We need 14, baby. You're not doing it.
Students, but they're not running, so we don't know if this is an indication
this is going to be tense.
Come to an end. Associated Press has been reporting that the shooter shot himself.
12:88. You see what I mean?
From the
about setting the bar too high?
We don't know anything more about whether that shooter who shot himself is one of the 2 reportedly who have been injured from the shooting as a whole. But just
okay, I got to get this straight. I don't have time for her in this. Dawson, they show all the kids are running there. It looks like Columbine all over again, right?
Yeah, it
on
does.
a smaller scale. Dawson College in Montreal. Never heard of that, did you?
No.
Well, you did now. Got him on the map. A Houston area lawmaker said today that she is vehemently insulted, not just insulted, but vehemently insulted by independent gubernatorial candidate Kinky Friedman's derogatory comments about Hurricane Katrina evacuees. Did you see about this?
No.
Friedman last week attributed a spike in Houston's crime rate to the crackheads and thugs who evacuated New Orleans. He has demonstrated a total lack of human sensitivity, said State Representative Senfronia Thompson, Democrat of Houston. Senfronia. Where's my glasses? Oh, it's Senfronia.
That's cute.
The people of Katrina have lost everything and are suffering not only from the loss of loved ones, but the trauma of the event itself. What has precipitated from this tragedy is behavior that results from a disastrous event. A spokesman for the Friedman campaign didn't return calls to AMP right away. Kinky Friedman has called himself a compassionate redneck, said Thompson, chairwoman of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus. He would do well to henceforth highlight his compassion while de-emphasizing his redneck tendencies. Redneck. Houston police have reported that 59 of the 262 Houston murders between January 1st and August 26th involved Katrina evacuees, either as victims or suspects. 59 of the 262. Friedman, a comedian running as an independent in the four-way governor race, later said there were some good people among the evacuees. Some. Friedman earlier this week also said that we would not pander to different ethnic groups while campaigning for governor. I don't eat tamales in the barrio. I don't eat fried chicken in the ghetto. I don't eat bagels with the Jews for breakfast, said Friedman, who is Jewish, no kidding. He said that to me is true racism, going around and pandering to the various ethnic groups. And, of course, we know politicians would never do that, would they?
No.
No way, Jose.
They're honest and upstanding.
I never got to the Dixie Chicks who told
come
us that. Well, I don't have time.
Yes, you do. Do it.
I don't.
You do. They love you.
The international press won't get their first look at the documentary Dixie Chicks Shut Up and Sing until its gala premiere at the Toronto Film Festival tonight. But Entertainment Weekly got an early look at the sure-to-be controversial documentary in L.A. and can attest that the film will continue to bring the country trio more plaudits from progressives and further condemnation from conservatives. And if you think singer Natalie Maines had some harsh words for Bush in public, wait till you hear what she had to say about him behind the scenes. Anyway, look at this. She says, after watching this footage, Maines repeats the president's comment about how the group shouldn't have their feelings hurt. Incredulous then says, what a dumb F. She then looks into the camera as if addressing Bush and reiterates, you're a dumb F. And it says in the article here, we could be wrong, but we have a feeling that in Toronto, at least, they're going to love it. Well, I'm in Toronto, at least, and I love it. Go, Natalie.
The best
Let them have it, baby.
This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's day
1317, we made it, baby. 1,317 votes. Aren't you proud?
No.
J.J. Jackson, Nina Black with Martha Quinn, Cyndi Lauper, Kaja Gugu, and Berlin, and Tony Basil, Simple Minds, Duran Duran. When we were children, we used to love them.
MTV made them video stars. Now no one knows just who they are.
But they're living in their cars. Now these days it's full of shows like TRL. And if you ask me, MTV has gone to hell. I wish they'd bring back Men at Work in the Motel. What happened to them? I really miss them.
MTV made them video stars. What their careers didn't go far.
None of them could play guitar, 'cause wearing spandex was much less hard. Those 80s haircuts were bizarre, like Black Eyed Seagulls and John